Testing movement, testing audio. Okay, looks like we're good. 1 second. Alright then. Hello everyone, this is Gundam Ace, aka John Hooper. I'm here with my streaming of Rebellion Secret Game second stage. Last time we left off, a whole lot more deaths happened. First Mitsuru, then Yui was found dead. Then, thanks to a trap by Shuhei, Kurokawa killed Majima, and then Shuhei himself killed Kurokawa. But, no, sorry, Shuhei did not kill he injured Kurokawa, and then Kurokawa got killed by Harin afterwards, but Shuhei believes he killed Kurokawa, yet feels no delight over it, no joy, now just feels empty for having gotten his revenge. So, and also, Hitomi is hunting after Tsukasa and Rei, who are hiding in a mountain hut. And that's what we'll be picking up now, so let's get started. I need to leave. That was the conclusion Rei Makioka had come to that day. Though Tsukasa had entrusted her to close-range combat, she hadn't made a dent in that maid. To make things worse, she was wounded, running a fever, and her body just wouldn't listen to her. It wasn't just in battle. She'd be slowing down Tsukasa, even if they were only walking. In this state, it would be difficult to get revenge on her brother, much less survive. I can't afford to cause Tsukasa any more problems. In reality, she wanted to stay with him until the end. Tsukasa was burning with confidence, quick on his feet, and yet somewhat uncertain. She wanted to keep watching him from up close. But Rei couldn't bear staying with him was nothing more than a burden. It'd be better not to tell him, wouldn't it? Rei wondered what kind of look would be on Tsukasa's face if she told him she was leaving. Will you say goodbye to her with the same aloof attitude she'd come to know? Or... whatever in the world am I expecting? With a small chuckle, Rei dragged her leg as she left the mountain hut. She snuck out the window so he wouldn't notice. Wanting to get one last look at him before she left for good, she looked his way. Oh? But Tsukasa, who was supposed to be on watch in front of the hut, was nowhere to be found. Did he go somewhere? Rei concealed her presence and looked in the places Tsukasa was likely to be. But she didn't see him behind the hut or on the mountain trail. I get the feeling I'd walk into a trap if I wandered around carelessly. Now that I think about it, Tsukasa and I first met when I fell into one of his traps, huh? She doubted many people could have claimed to have met while one was hanging upside down. She'd been bitter about it before, but now she looked back on it nostalgically. Sensing a presence behind her, Ray instantly drew her sword, turned around, and swung. Or at least that was the plan. But her weak and wounded body lacked the agility to make it happen. It was almost sad how sluggish she was. Something was pressed against Ray's exposed mouth. Furthermore, someone wrapped their arm around her neck and dragged her backwards. She tried to resist, but couldn't put any strength into her wounded and fever-ridden body. With her unable to being turned around, her assailant's right arm sunk deeper and deeper into her neck. The only way Ray had of fighting back was scratching them. And as she did, Ray's vision grew white. Tsukasa! Failing to scream the name on the tip of her tongue, Ray whited out. Her body flopped onto the ground. The sound of a chainsaw engine howled from somewhere. Ouch, that really hurts. Ray really scratched me good. Tsukasa lifted Ray's body as he massaged his bleeding arm. An eerie sound resounded in the distance. I don't have time to stand around. I need to hurry. If he didn't, then maid would arrive. She'd eventually find him with her special function unless he fled. He looked around for cubes around the mountain huts, but hadn't managed to find a weapon that would serve as a trump card. He also hadn't managed to set up enough new traps. He'd done all he could to prepare for an ambush on Hitomi, but wished he'd had one more day. Tsukasa ran to the hut and quickly laid Ray down. Water, food, memory chips, and the katana. He put them all down next to Ray and took the lid off a... One second, wait. Quick audio test. Okay, it seems the audio is still good. Sorry about that. Alright, let's continue. He put them all down next to Ray and took the lid off a small food bunker that had been built under the floor. From what he'd seen when he checked it earlier, it was about 2 meters long and wide. There There was nothing in it, but that made things more convenient. Up we go. Tsukasa laid Rei in the bunker. Put everything else he gathered in there with her. After that, he took one more look at the black-haired girl. When he called her name, Tsukasa recalled his first meeting with her. Seeing her hanging upside down, yet refusing to curry favor with him, had made him worry she wasn't right in the head. But Rei had saved his life multiple times, proving his fears to be unfounded. He wondered what would happen when she woke up. She'd likely mouth off everything she was thinking, in the same unladylike manner as always. She'll probably call me an idiot, and I wouldn't argue with that. But once you're done venting, you'll probably forgive me. You're soft on others that way. That thought brought a smile to Tsukasa's face. The time we spent together wasn't so bad. That was something Tsukasa, who considered others as nothing but tools for his own ambitions, would have never thought before this. Has this game changed me? Or is it because you were there with me? Tsukasa slowly closed the lid on the bunker. I'll be going now. And after those last words, he shut the lid entirely. Who do I even think I'm showing off to? Even now, he couldn't believe what he was doing. It was completely illogical and detrimental, no matter how he spun it. People are such a pain, in all kinds of ways. Tsukasa was quite exasperated with the part of himself that abandoned logic at the very end. However, his face reflected not grim despair, but a troubled smile. Alright, here I go. The odds aren't completely hopeless. Tsukasa took out his gun and checked how many bullets were loaded. He then checked the rest of his gear, and his smile faded as he broke off towards the forest. First, he entered the thicket to keep Hitomi's attention away from the hut. Next, he started moving wildly to get as much use out of his traps as possible. Guess I'll have to give up on the first one. When considering the direction the sound the chainsaw was coming from and his current position, Tsukasa realized the first trap he set would have to go to waste. There were 3 other traps he'd set, 2 meant to kill, and 1 meant to slow Hitomi down. Aside from that, he had a knife, a pistol with 7 shots, and a grenade. That was all the fighting potential Tsukasa had left. If I can put them to good use, then maybe... Tsukasa fired in the direction of the chainsaw's roar with that wish in his heart. At that moment, Hitomi began approaching at ferocious speed. She'd figure out Tsukasa's position. Her white apron stood out like a specter in the darkness.
銃撃されてるのにひるむ態度の一つも見せやしない。相変わらずいい度胸してるよ。
So she doesn't show any fear even when being shot at. As always, her bravery is commendable.
あのメイドは遮蔽物を利用して銃の車線に入らないように常に動き回っている。
That maid always moves to dart behind cover and dodge bullets.
そして弾切れのタイミングを狙って一気に距離を詰めてくる。
She then closes the distance in one fell swoop once her opponent runs out of bullets. It was simple logic, but not impossible to actually implement. But Hitomi had a well-trained body and swift decision-making to make it possible. She had the reek of battle, someone who obtained all that through many experiences killing others. Though her chainsaw made for an inefficient weapon, the gap between her and Scasa's combat abilities was evident.
運が悪い勝負だってことは分かってる。だけど、そう簡単に負けてやるわけにはいかないね。
I know I'm at a disadvantage here, but don't think I'll go down so easily.
こちらの動きを見て狙撃を回避しているというなら。
If you're dodging my shots by watching me,
銃口の見えない射撃ならどうかな。
then how will you deal with bullets from an invisible gun? Scasa closely watched the trap that Hitomi had passed. There was a cotton thread strung across the ground at her feet. It was a simple booby trap that used a pistol, but once the thread was cut, it would fire bullets from above the thread. Not even Hitomi could dodge bullets from a direction she wasn't expecting. However, Hitomi noticed the thread just as she was about to cut it. A moment later, she used her muscles to force her body being driven forward by the inertia of her sprint to slow down, kicking up dirt as she did. She jumped over the thread just as she was due to cut it. Her long silver hair and maid uniform fluttered as she landed gracefully. It was quite an underhanded tactic. In contrast to her words, Tomi's lips were curved into a sneer. You damned monster. Scasa clicked his tongue with that display of physical abilities that went beyond the norm. But he didn't have time for regrets. He began retreating while firing a diversion shot. If a fatal trap didn't work, then I'm all out of cards. In that case, there's only one option left, huh? If there was one weakness of Hitomi's, it was her odd fixation on that chainsaw. Had she been using a firearm, it likely would have been all over for him by now. For Hitomi to kill Scasa, she had to get in close range. So he still had a chance to bring her down. I didn't want to go this far if possible, though. Scasa reached an open field free from the crowds of trees and shrubs and stopped. He held his gun, awaiting the arrival of the maid. Are you quite done running? Yes, I am. Soon enough, Tomi appeared before Scasa. Then will you plead for your life? Afraid I'll have to pass. It wouldn't be very cool.
そういう人間は嫌いではありませんよ。
How honorable. I am fond of people like you. Once she gets in close enough for us to hit each other, I'll use my last resort. Hitomi likely knew what Tsukasa was thinking. She wasn't running at him at full speed like before, but rather gracefully approaching him one step at a time. Just then, Tsukasa took out his PDA. When she saw that, Hitomi stopped in confusion.
この状況で何をするつもりです？
Whatever are you planning to do in this situation?
いや、ちょっとやり残したことがあってね。少し待っててもらえる？
Actually, there's one last thing I wanted to take care of. Would you wait for a moment?
昨日の接触であなたの特殊機能はコピー系であると見当がついています。
I have more or less determined from our encounter yesterday that your special function is a copy type.
他の機能を装っても意味はありませんよ。
There's no point in pretending as though you have a different one.
別にそんなつもりじゃないさ。
That wasn't my intention, really.
では何のため？
And why? Tsukasa ignored Hitomi in favor of his PDA. After keeping Hitomi waiting for a few dozen seconds, he finished. He looked up and locked eyes with the chainsaw-wielding maid.
もうよろしいですか？
Are you finished?
ああ、準備はできたよ。
Yeah, I'm all ready.
では参ります。
And here I come. Though confused by Tsukasa's suspicious actions, Hitomi resumed marching. There were about 6 meters left between them. Hitomi lowered her body as though she were drawing an arrow. With her leg strength, she could close the gap between her and Tsukasa in an instant.
Good.
Bring it! Hitomi kicked off the ground. Tsukasa threw his PDA aside and drew his gun.
遅いですね。
Too late. Hitomi noticed his actions and raised her chainsaw overhead like a shovel. The first strike knocked Tsukasa's pistol off his hands. He had been setting his sights on Hitomi. No. Tsukasa had thrown it away himself. He stuck his right hand into his pocket, swifter than he even anticipated. But Hitomi rushed up to him.
これで終わりです。
This is the end! Second slash cut diagonally into Tsukasa's shoulder, the rotating blade smashing through bone and gouging out flesh. But she would need a few more seconds in order to kill him. That was enough time.
あなたにも
If I'm going down,
一緒に来てもらう。
I'm taking you with me! Tsukasa pulled his hand out of his pocket. What? He revealed a grenade with its pin and clip removed. When she noticed that, Hitomi's eyes widened. And a moment later, a roar filled their surroundings. Countless stars shined in the gaps between the trees. The roar of the explosion lasted only an instant. Dozens of seconds later, The nearby insects began playing their beautiful sounds once again. His calculations hadn't been wrong. The grenade had exploded at close distance between him and Hitomi. His body had been reduced to a horrible sight, indescribable, not budging an inch. Hitomi had also been pierced by shrapnel here and there, her clothes stained with blood. But regardless, Hitomi eventually staggered to her feet. You have really done it now! Hitomi kicked his corpse with reprehension. Skasa's calculations hadn't been wrong. That much was sure. The grenade had indeed exploded only a meter away from Hitomi. Or rather, in a place 1 meter from him and Hitomi. When Hitomi saw the grenade in Skasa's hand, she promptly used his body as a shield. The grenade itself hadn't been very powerful, as it was designed to kill people not with the explosion, but with the fragments scattered by the blast. Had it exploded on the ground, it would have turned the pieces of wood and rocks into lethal bullets. However, the majority of it had been blocked by Skasa's body and hadn't been enough to mortally wound Hitomi. But some shrapnel had indeed hit Hitomi, dealing major damage to her. At any rate, I must return to Master Shuhei. Hitomi spoke in pain for the first time since she started playing the game. She took out her PDA with trembling hands, and a sad look appeared on her face. Oh no, the rendezvous time is soon. I cannot keep Master Shuhei waiting. Hitomi dragged her injured body off into the night. Where am I? When Rei woke up, everything was pitch black. But the musty air and the lack of echo in her voice quickly made it clear she was in a small space. Have I been locked somewhere? She remembered someone putting her in an arm lock before she passed out. But her arms and legs weren't bound, and a quick fumbling around the area revealed her sword was at hand, too. It was highly unlikely anyone would lock her up with her weapon. Light shone in from the cracks of the roof, revealing it to be a door of some sorts. Rei pushed it with her hands. When she sat up so she could go outside, several objects scattered to the floor. Rei looked down to find they were memory chips. What in the world? Rei was completely clueless about the situation she'd awoken to. She scanned her surroundings to realize she was in the same mountain hut she'd run to with Skasa. She patted down her arms and legs, but found no signs of injuries. Whoever attacked her had brought her here while she was unconscious and left her with memory chips and food before leaving. It can't be. The moment that possibility popped into her head, Rei's mind stopped. Did Tsukasa? If it had been him, his reasons were obvious. Rei quickly took out her PDA and checked the time. It was 8:40 p.m. It hadn't been very long since she'd lost consciousness. Just then, Rei's PDA beeped. An email? Tsukasa had told her that Hitomi's special function allowed her to send emails. But she didn't understand why she received an email now. Making up her mind, Rei activated her PDA and pressed the email icon. At the same time, an explosion reached Rei's ears. An explosion? That disturbing sound was the proof people were fighting. There was only one person she could think of who'd be fighting this close to the mountain hut. Did Tsukasa? Rei's face paled, and she looked in the direction of the explosion. She shoved her PDA in her pocket, forgetting about the email she'd opened. Why would he do something so reckless? Rei grabbed her sword and left the hut without looking aside. She ran in the direction the explosion had come from. Though all her wounds open, she was struck with intense pain that threatened to knock her out. Rei continued sprinting as fast as she could. And then Rei found Tsukasa. It was the only place in the forest that stood out. The scent of gunpowder shrouded the air like smoke. Blood was scattered everywhere under the ice-silver moonlight. There were notches in the trees around, and there was a notable dent in the ground. In the middle of it all was the cruelly deformed body of Tsukasa Mitsubayashi. His corpse, torn to shreds, no longer resembled its original form. Faced with that utter destruction, the death of her teammate, Rei dropped her sword and stood as still as a statue. Why? You weren't the kind of person who would risk his life to save another. Why did you sacrifice yourself for me? Why did you protect me? With quivering lips, Rei blankly stared what had once been Tsukasa. She called out to Tsukasa with a choked voice and teary eyes. Her eyes warped with bewilderment and sorrow. You should have just gone and abandoned the burden like me. You should have just run away on your own. So why did you do this? Please say something, Tsukasa. There was no one there who could answer Rei's questions. The once eloquent Tsukasa had been reduced to a voiceless shell. Rei felt deep sorrow and vexation from that. All of a sudden, Rei remembered the email. The one she received right before the explosion. If Hitomi and Tsukasa had been fighting, then who in the world had sent that to her? This is... Rei's eyes widened with surprise when she saw her PDA. Written on screen was Tsukasa's final message. Water the flower in my room. That was all it said. Flower? Rei remembered what Tsukasa had told her yesterday. About how he had a pod cyclamen that he'd been taking care of. The one and only silent friend that the boy who had hated humans loved. And then, when Rei realized the meaning hidden behind the message, small teardrops streaked down her cheeks. Tsukasa, you really are an idiot. Tsukasa must have sent that email at the bitter end, when he knew that there was truly no way out for him. He must have faced Hitomi fearing his own death. Yet in spite of that, he sent her an email in tune with his character, telling her to live on. This isn't like you, Tsukasa. This really isn't like you. There was no way Rei could refuse Tsukasa's final request now. She looked down at Tsukasa as her cheeks grew damp with tears. Her lips curved into a gentle smile. I will accept your request. Though her voice trembled, Rei picked up her sword with a smile. She slowly took a deep breath and wiped her tears with her sleeves. And when she opened her eyes again, they were filled with a strong resolve like never before. But as you know, I'm not a very perceptive person. So I will avenge you and Akira. After I accomplish that, I swear I will survive. Rei gripped her sword and said farewell to Tsukasa's body. That woman couldn't have gone far. Rei followed Hitomi's traces through the forest. Hitomi had likely been seriously wounded by Tsukasa's grenade. The moonlight wasn't bright enough to illuminate her blood trail. Rei followed her intuition in search of the target of her vengeance. She could feel lingering traces of bloodlust drifting in the air. Rei walked through the woods in pursuit of that. Before long, she felt a human presence in some bushes in her way. She couldn't tell who it was, but they were definitely there. And she could felt that person was clad in bloodlust. Picking up on that, Rei quietly held her breath, brandished her sword, and lunged into the bush. Die! But she stopped her sword in midair. For the person hiding in the bushes was not Hitomi.
Hatsune!
Standing there was Hatsune, who Rei had thought had died after falling off the cliff. She had no weapon, only her PDA. She had the same look of fear as she did on her back then. But Rei was relieved beyond relief to see her. You're alive! Thank goodness! Rei dropped her sword and took Hatsune into a hug. It wasn't as though she recovered from the sorrow of Tsukasa's loss. But to learn someone she knew was alive filled Rei with great joy. Rei, why are you hugging me? I was so worried about you. I'm so sorry about back then. You mean when I fell from the cliff? Yes, it's my fault that happened to you. It's okay. It's my fault for panicking back then. You don't have to worry about it. I see. Rei was relieved to hear that. Before long, Hatsune timidly asked another question. By the way, what happened to Tsukasa? Tsukasa's dead. Huh? Who killed him? It was that maid. Tsukasa died because of her. That's why I'm chasing after her right now. Rei recounted what happened up to this point in a faint voice. She had to defeat Hitomi for Hatsune's sake as well. She'd had enough of losing others. So she had to get Hatsune to a safe place and resume her pursuit of Hitomi as soon as possible. But right when she thought that, a shiver suddenly ran down Rei's spine. Right before she'd found Hatsune, she'd been pursuing Hitomi's bloodlust. And this bush had been oozing with bloodlust. And it turned out Hatsune had been there, but that was precisely what was so odd. Why was Hatsune dripping with bloodlust when she didn't even have a weapon? Hatsune, your condition... But before she could finish that sentence, Rei was interrupted by a beep coming from her neck. That sound made all the hair on her body stick up. My collar! She didn't know why it was sounding an alarm. But she knew who had caused it. For Hatsune slowly broke out into a sinister smile. Hatsune, is this your doing? That's right. This is your punishment for trying to kill me. With those words, Hatsune turned around. And with one last mocking smile, she vanished into the darkness. You've got it all wrong! I never tried to kill... Rei tried to defend her actions but never got the chance. Because right then, there was a flash at her neck. A spurt of fresh blood spouted, painting the darkness crimson. She felt no pain, just her consciousness fading away.
ごめんなさい。約束は守れなかったです。
I'm sorry. I couldn't keep my promise. And Skasa's smile flashed through her mind. Rei powerlessly collapsed to the ground. After killing Kurokawa, Shuhei wandered the area with the face of a ghost. Now that he'd avenged Kotomi and lost his goal, his heart was just a black void. Yet the game didn't end, and of course, Kotomi didn't come back. Shuhei lived on, having lost everything. Eventually, the rendezvous time drew near, and Shuhei returned to the meetup point. However, when he got there, Hitomi was nowhere to be found. She's late. Shuhei checked his PDA from time to time as he paced around in the dark. 5 minutes already passed since the arranged meeting time. Shuhei was starting to grow impatient. He was sure that Hitomi would never break a promise with him. But that thinking that way also affirmed the idea that late equaled dead. Guess all I can do is wait, huh? Even if Hitomi was dying off somewhere, it would be ideal if it had been a mutual kill. In his mind, Shuhei ran simulations of Hitomi and Skasa killing each other. Both of them had to die in order for Shuhei to survive. But though he should have been happy about that possibility, he wasn't happy in the least. His PDA displayed the player numbers of his targets, but for some reason he couldn't find it in himself to check it. God damn it. What the hell's wrong with me? Perhaps he'd been regaining his presence of mind bit by bit since Kurokawa's death. And with that came realization. The realization that he turned into a monstrous avatar of revenge who'd been trying to kill others. But if so, what should I have done? What am I supposed to do? Just as Shuhei said that, he knows something moving in the darkness. Is that you, Hitomi? Shuhei shouted without thinking. But what he heard wasn't Hitomi's voice, but the voice of a girl he hadn't heard in a long time. Shuhei, there you are! I've been looking for you this whole time! You're the only one I can trust anymore! Hatsune ran towards Shuhei. But Shuhei instinctively drew his gun and pointed at her. Stay back! Don't get any closer! Huh? Hatsune froze in bewilderment about 20 meters away from Shuhei. She looked at him with teary eyes. Shuhei, why? What did I do to you?
いや、だが武器を持っているかもしれないやつをやすやすと近づけるわけにはいかない。
Sorry, but I can't let someone who might have a weapon come up to me so casually. I don't have any weapons. I've been running around this whole time without managing to get my hands on one.
本当か?
Is that really true? Yes! See? I don't have anything. Hatsune fished through her pockets and showed them to Shuhei. All she had was her PDA. Her special function served to alert her when another PDA was within 20 meters of her. Completely harmless. Furthermore, Hatsune took off her jacket to show Shuhei she wasn't hiding any weapons in her chest. Those actions served to prove that she was desperately trying to get Shuhei's trust. See? I don't have any weapons, do I? Hatsune put her jacket back on, timidly looked at Shuhei, who sighed.
どうやらそうみたいだな。
It seems that way.
しかし、司たちはどうしたんだ? 確か一緒に行動してたんじゃないのか?
But what happened to Scalsa and that Ray girl? Weren't you guys together?
セカンドステージに移行した時、司の条件が偶数ナンバーのプレイヤー全員の死亡というものに変わったのです。
When the second stage began, Scalsa's condition changed to all even-numbered players die.
初音のナンバーがそれで殺されかけて崖から落とされたりもして。
And my player number is Queen. So he tried to kill me and I fell from a cliff.
それからずっと逃げていたんです。
I've been running ever since. Now she mentioned it, Shuhei had seen some rather nasty bruises on Hatsune's body just now. Her words and actions lined up. It didn't seem like she was lying. Shuhei? Could you at least put the gun down?
ああ、いいだろう。
Yeah. Okay. Shuhei lowered his gun. Hatsune smiled in relief and Hatsune smiled with relief and was about to approach Shuhei. And then he felt a cold jolt run down his spine. It wasn't like anything seemed odd about Hatsune's face or behavior. And just as she'd proven, she didn't have any weapons. Yet he could feel something dark lurking in her eyes. Likely the same darkness that resided in Shuhei's own. Hatsune, did you... What? There were about 15 meters between them now. Hatsune answered Shuhei as she continued to close the distance.
人を殺したのか?
Did you kill someone?
そんなわけないですよ.
What? Of course not! 10 meters left. Hatsune still hadn't stopped.
俺のことも殺すつもりで.
Are you planning to kill me too?
周平、どうしちゃったんですか?
Shuhei, what's wrong with you? 5 meters. Shuhei instinctively retreated.
どうやって? 特殊機能か? 人を直接殺せる特殊機能.
How'd you do it? Your special function? Does it allow you to kill people when they get close?
初音の特殊機能は他のプレイヤーの敵を知らせる機能です。 周平も知ってるはずじゃないですか。
My special function lets me know when other players are close. You should know that already. 3 meters. Asane took out her PDA and turned to Shuhei.
ほら、この機能ですよ。初音はこの機能で。
See, it's this function. With this function, I
人を殺したんだな。
killed people, right? Shuhei could feel it in his bones. Hasane was clad in the same thick bloodlust that shrouded Kurokawa.
隠さなくてもいいんだ。俺も人を殺したから。
You don't have to hide it. I've killed people too. With that, the mask Hasane had been wearing finally collapsed. A cold, emotionless expression rose to her face.
クリア条件のせいで殺さざるを得なかったんです。
Were you forced to do it because of your clear condition?
復讐だ。
No. It was for revenge.
琴美の死の原因を作った男。殺した。
I killed the guy responsible for Tomi's death with my own hands.
そうですか。
I see. Hasane looked at Shuhei with pity. After a short silence, Shuhei continued.
俺のクリア条件は素数ナンバーのプレイヤーの死亡。そして琴美の語った男は素数ナンバーじゃなかった。
My clear condition calls for the death of prime-numbered players, but the guy responsible for Tomi's death wasn't one of them.
ゲームのルールとは何の関係もない。ただの試練だった。
It was just a personal grudge that had nothing to do with the game's rules.
悩ましい話ですね。
I'm jealous. I wish I could be as lax as you.
羨ましい。
Jealous?
初音のクリア条件も自分以外の全プレイヤーの死亡です。
My clear condition is all players except yourself die.
みんなを敵に回してたった一人で全員殺さなきゃならなかったんですよ。
Everyone's my enemy. I have to kill them all by myself. Shuhei's gun hand twitched. Hasane continued in order to keep it in check.
動かないでください。動けばあなたは死にます。
Please don't move. I'll kill you if you do.
何？
What?
初音が今使おうとしている特殊機能、半径2メートル以内のクリアを爆破する。
Special function I'm trying to use right now. Can detonate collars within 2 meters.
あと一歩踏み出してこの機能を使えば周辺のクリアは爆発するのです。
If I take just one more step and use it, your collar will explode.
その日の殺人。
I see. So use that to kill people. Shuhei didn't know why Hatsune had 2 special functions. Perhaps her PDA had some secret to it that allowed her to obtain multiple special functions? Whatever the case, her eyes were filled with bloodlust. He couldn't imagine she was lying or bluffing.
初音は周平と琴美のことは信用してました。
I trusted you in Kotomi.
でも周平は初音に嘘をついていたんです。司から聞かされた周平の特殊機能は全然違うものだったです。
But you lied to me. The special function Tsukasa told me you had was totally different from the one you told me. Unsure of what to do, Shuhei glanced at his gun. But Hasane saw right through him.
初音と戦いますか？
Will you fight me with that gun?
初音が一歩踏み出すのが早いか、周平が初音を撃つのが早いか。
Will I take another step faster, or will you shoot me faster? That question shook Shuhei's heart. He was in a battle between life and death with this tiny girl. Shuhei's mind was far too broken at this point to simply accept that situation.
戦わないと言ったらどうする？
What if I said I wouldn't fight? Huh?
初音はその機能で俺をあっさりと殺してくれるのか？
Could you kill me quickly with that function?
送ってくれるのか？
Can you reunite me with Katomi?
疲れたんだ。
I'm just so tired.
このない世界で血まみれになりながら生きるよりその方がいくらかマシなのかなってさ。
I'm thinking your offer might be far better than living in the world without Katomi while shedding blood. In the darkness, Shuhei felt a faint light shine in Hatsune's eyes. They almost looked like the eyes of the innocent girl he met 5 days ago. Hatsune answered in a low voice.
周平の望みをためらわずあなたを殺します。
If that's what you want, then I won't hesitate to kill you.
爪のクリア条件でもあるから。
It's part of my clear condition after all.
そうだよな。
That's true. Hatsune took a step forward. 2 meters. Goodbye, Shuhei. Hatsune lowered her finger toward her PDA. When all of a sudden, there was a sound of something cutting through the air. Huh? Hatsune looked at the arrow piercing her chest like it was something she'd never seen before. Before long, she let out a short scream and stepped back. What? Shuhei couldn't believe what he was seeing. Something was sticking out of Hatsune's chest. It was something Shuhei had seen being pointed at him that very morning. A crossbow arrow. What is this?
誰が初音にこんなものを
Who did this to me? It seemed Hatsune didn't understand what happened to her. Right then, another arrow came flying. Struck by that arrow, Hatsune fell to the ground.
初音大丈夫か？初音
Hatsune, are you alright? Though she'd been trying to kill him, Shuhei still instinctively called out to Hatsune of concern. Hatsune didn't answer him. She just looked up at the sky vacantly. It hurts! I don't want to die, Mommy.
お稽古もちゃんとするからわからないから
I'll take practice seriously. I won't be selfish anymore. So please. And with that last faint whisper, Hatsune fell silent. A trickle of blood trailed down the edge of her mouth. Shuhei could tell she was already dead.
初音
Shuhei gritted his teeth and shouted into the surrounding darkness.
春菜いるんだろ春菜
Haruna! I know you're there!
なぜ俺を助けるなぜ俺を生かそうとするんだ
Why did you save me? Why are you trying to keep me alive?
答えろ春菜
Answer me, Haruna! No answer came. but even without one, Shuhei already understood the reason behind her actions. It was so unbearable that Shuhei clenched his hands into fists. He stood still, and before long, heard a voice from behind him.
Shuhei-sama.
Master Shuhei. Shuhei jolted around to find Hitomi standing there. She was wounded all over, looking weaker than he'd ever seen her before.
申し訳ありません。帝国に遅れてしまいました。
My sincerest apologies for missing the appointed rendezvous time.
無事なのか？
Are you okay?
はい。私は大丈夫なのですが、お約束の時間に。
Huh? Oh, yes. I am fine, but I am late for...
よかった。
Thank goodness. Shuhei ran up to her.
この傷はどうしたんだ？ボロボロじゃないか。
How'd you get these wounds? You're battered all over.
実は三林司の手榴弾を使った自爆攻撃を受けてしまいまして、私もその余波を。
You see, Tsukasa Mitsubayashi took himself out of a grenade, and I was caught up in his suicide attack.
司がそんなもの。
Tsukasa really did that?
はい。ですがご安心くださいませ。三林司の死亡はこの目でしかと確認してまいりました。
Yes, but rest assured, I confirmed Tsukasa Mitsubayashi's death with my own eyes.
そう。とにかくよくやった。
I see. Anyway, good job.
ですが、そのせいで待ち合わせのお時間をだいぶ過ぎてしまいました。
But as a result, I was considerably late for our rendezvous time.
そんなことはどうでもいい。俺はよくやったって褒めたんだ。それでいいじゃないか。
It doesn't matter. I just said you did a good job. Isn't that enough?
お許しいただけるのですか？
Then you forgive me?
許すも何？咎める理由なんかどこにもないだろ。
Forgive you? Why would I ever blame you?
人はよくやったよ。褒めるばかりだ。
You did a good job. All I have for you is praise.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you so much. Tomi bowed her head, body shaking little by little. At that moment, Shuhei did something even he couldn't believe. He embraced her, his voice trembling.
人が無事ならそれでいいわ。
Anyway, all that matters is you're okay.
それだけでいい。
It's really all that matters.
様。
Master Shuhei! The moment Tomi breathed that stunned whisper, a cold wind blew in Shuhei's heart. But what was this feeling?
周平様。
Master Shuhei,
私は周平様のためでしたら何でもいたします。
I shall do anything for you. Anything?
はい。ですのでどうか私を信じてくださいませ。
Yes, so please, have faith in me. Neither of them were looking at each other. You know if he was forgetting it or losing it. But something fading was casting a faint shadow on Shuhei's heart. Tomi. He probably said that without even thinking. Shuhei muttered that vague name. Tomi reacted to it, of course, but did her best to resist the urge to ask about it.
ご安心くださいませ。私は 周平様のためならば何でもいたしますから。
Please rest assured, I shall do anything for you. Though her voice was a tad shaky, she repeated those words firmly. No matter which name he had said, Hitomi's words would have probably been the same. A response of her own will that didn't need Shuhei's standpoint. Yes. Shuhei gently placed his hands on Hitomi's chin and lifted her face. The moment he planted a kiss on her lips, Hitomi's body rejected him for just a brief instant. But she soon returned Shuhei's kiss. Soft lips met awkward lips. Sweet breaths that leaked from Hitomi's mouth tickled Shuhei's nose. The two silently broke off the kiss. I'm sorry. It was Shuhei who broke eye contact between them. But Hitomi remonstrated him in a kind voice. Please, do not apologize. I truly was happy to receive a kiss from you. But the gentle look on her face soon turned to surprise. Master Shuhei? Hitomi froze with bewilderment, then ran her fingers down Shuhei's cheek. Why are you crying? Huh? My sincerest apologies. I do not have a handkerchief on me. Her pale fingers gently traced the slowly falling drops. Shuhei quickly turned his face away as if to deny them. Sorry. I just got some dust in my eyes. Master Shuhei, did something happen? No, nothing. That cannot be. Exactly what transpired while I was I said I'm fine. Anyway, rest for today. You must be tired. For a moment, Hitomi fell silent with hesitation. Master Shuhei! But she soon made up her mind and grabbed Shuhei. Shuhei looked at Hitomi with bewilderment. A fool like me cannot hope to comprehend what you are feeling. But I can at least tell you are very hurt and troubled. No, you're worrying too much. There's no way I'm hurt. But Hitomi's grip on Shuhei only tightened. Shuhei swallowed his words as her arm enveloped him. Then why are you trembling? I cannot truly understand the pain in your heart. Nor your sorrow of losing her, nor what has happened to you, or what troubles you so. Just as Shuhei instructed, Hitomi refrained from saying her name. She did her best to respect his wishes. She continued. But there are things I can understand when we are like this. Sorry. Sorry, I just need to catch my breath. Okay, I think I'm fine now. I can tell your heart is on the verge of breaking, and that you wish to give up on life. I see. So I'm so feeble that even you can tell, huh? Tomi nodded painfully. After a brief silence, Shuhei spoke up. Tell me, I've come to an epiphany. I now know what it means for me to survive this game. That I must stain my hands in blood to live. But by trying to survive, I'm getting further and further away from the person I used to be. The me who was there while she was still with me is fading away. Even so, do I have to live? Hitomi contemplated Shuhei's question. She gently let go of him, looked straight at him. I am your maid. It is my mission to serve my master, and I believe I am exceeding my station when I say this. But even so, will you permit me to make one selfish request? What is it? Please live on. A day may come when even this sorrow shall heal. So I beseech you, please live on until then. Those words struck Shuhei right in the heart. That had been Kotomi's wish. The wish he had chosen to grant after he'd lost her. But you have to keep staining his hand with blood in order to grant that. That fact tormented Shuhei to his very core, but... Alright. I'll live. I'll live on as long as I can. Master Shuhei. Thank you so much. Hitomi gave a relieved smile, her eyes misty. Unable to reciprocate that gaze, Shuhei silently looked up to the skies. He stood powerlessly in the desolate darkness. As Shuhei stewed over a question in his mind, midnight came. The start of the 6th day came with many mixed feelings. Right as the clock struck midnight, Shuhei's PDA received an email.
なんだ
What's this? He checked his PDA to find a message. Alert. 24 hours remain until the end. In other words, the game would reach its conclusion by midnight tomorrow.
あと24時間
Just 24 hours to go. Shuhei felt goosebumps rise on his back when he became aware of the time limit. He felt keenly aware of it, like that girl in the fairy tale whose spell wore off at midnight on the dot. He turned to Hitomi, who was sleeping next to him.
瞳
私はもしや
Did I?
寝てたよだからエリア移動だけはしておいた安心していい
He fell asleep, so I moved you to another area. Relax.
申し訳ありません
My sincerest apologies.
それよりようやく24時間前らしい
Anyway, it seems we finally have only 24 hours left.
本当ですか
Oh my, is that true?
ああ PDA を確認してみるんだ
Yeah. Go check your PDA.
はい今すぐに
Yes, right away, Master Shuhei. Hitomi hastily filled her PDA in accordance with Shuhei's orders. As he watched her, Shuhei sorted out his feelings. The starry sky shone silently. The surroundings were filled only with the chirping of insects. The whirlwind of doubts and bewilderment silently raged on Shuhei without reaching a conclusion. Those feelings manifested as a deep sigh that melted the darkness around him. Day 6. And thus the sun rose on the morning of the game's final day. Yuna Todo, who had been granted the clear condition of rendering all other players' PDAs inoperable, was still wandering around the field in search of other players. But though she'd focused her search on places where people were likely to come and go, she'd barely run into any players.
参ったわ
Great. Just great.
こうしている間にも確実にプレイヤーの数は減ってきているっていうのに
The number of players is definitely going down while I'm out here doing this. Yuna's PDA showed the number of PDAs that hadn't been rendered inoperable yet. Excluding Yuna, there were 4 left. Which by her estimates meant either 9 players had died, or their PDAs had been broken. Just last night, she heard an explosion, so it was clear that other players were fighting each other to the death.
もう何もかも引き返せないところに来てるのね
I'm already at the point where it's too late to make a difference, too. Sorry, 1 minute, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back now. It had already been 6 hours since the 24-hour warning. In just 18 hours, she had to disable the 4 remaining PDAs. But despite that, Yuna still wanted to save as many players as possible, though she had no intention of forgiving Mariko and Yui's killer, naturally.
すでに条件を満たしたプレイヤーが守りに徹してどこかに潜伏している可能性も高い。
There's also a good chance that the players who already fulfilled their conditions are keeping their guards up and hiding somewhere, maybe.
こうなってくると苦しいわね。
It's gonna be a tough one at this point, that's for sure. But as Yuna complained...
あれ?
She spotted mysterious stains on the linoleum floor. It was a familiar black discoloration. It can only be...
血痕ね。少し前のものだけど。
Bloodstains, huh? Not too recent, though. Yuna followed the scattered trail of blood until they vanished at a dead end in the lobby.
何これ? 床板が
What's this? The floorboards... No, it wasn't a board. To be more accurate, it was...
蓋?
A lid? One of the linoleum floorboards was colored differently. Furthermore, when she pressed the metal part embedded into it, it turned into a handle just like she expected. Yuna made up her mind and pulled it, and the lid came up with a heavy metallic groan. Inside, she could see a vertical space that led to an underground and a metal ladder.
地下へと続く秘密の通路ってわけね。
So it's a secret passage that leads underground, huh? An entrance not even a repeater like Yuna knew about. And there were signs someone had used it very recently. In most architectural styles, no one would build a staircase to a basement in a place like this. Meaning someone had to have intentionally built it this way. And naturally, the only ones who could have done it were the people running the game.
虎穴に入らずんだ孤児のやつ。
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
行ってみるしかないわね。
Guess all I can do is go. Yuna flipped the safety off her Beretta and checked the remaining bullets. She took a deep breath to steel her resolve and sunk into the hole in the floor. When she ascended the... Wait, hold on a second. When she descended the ladder and opened the door at the bottom, she found the room covered in monitors waiting for her.
これってもしかして全部監視カメラの映像?
Is this footage from all the surveillance cameras? There had to be over 40 monitors lined up on the walls. The room was cramped with a row of editing devices, while cables strewn across the floor left very little room to stand. Even further in, there were shelves taller than Yuna lined up, housing countless servers that made a grating low register sound.
ゲームフィールド内に設置された監視カメラの映像がここに集約してるわけね。
So this is where the footage from the surveillance cameras set across the game field are collected, huh? Yuna took a casual glance at the countless monitors to find many places she recognized. Mariko's body was on the monitor displaying the cave.
プレイヤーの行動を監視するための部屋。
Is this room used to keep an eye on the player's movements?
だとしたら人がいないのはおかしいか。
If so, isn't it odd that there's no people here? Yuna took a look around. It didn't look like it was built for someone to live there. It had likely been built as a relay point for the camera footage, which was then being sent to another location. And if that hypothesis was correct, then it was highly likely the footage was being saved.
よし、ちょっといじってみますか。
Okay, let's see what these things can do. Yuna stood in front of the PC that appeared to manage the data and pressed the keyboard. The PC's OS was from an off-the-shelf maker, so even Yuna, who only had knowledge of ordinary PCs, could operate no problem.
こいつを使いこなせれば、生き残っているプレイヤーの位置がわかるはず。
If I can figure out how to work this thing, I should be able to locate the surviving players.
それに、ユイやマリコを殺した犯人を調べられるかもしれない。
I might be able to look into who killed Yui and Mariko. Yuna cross-referenced the times and locations in her memories, and opened folders of names that seemed to correspond to them. Yuna watched the monitors with rage. She swore to avenge the lives that had been so cruelly reaped before her. Yuna didn't realize she was squeezing the monitor so hard it was creaking. "20 minutes after she found the monitors, Yuna found the footage she was looking for and was rendered speechless by what she saw.
なんなのよ、これ。
What the hell is this?" Yuna was watching footage from 2 days ago in the hut. She was witnessing the scene where Yui had been killed. No matter how many times she saw people die, she never got used to it. Especially the death of a teammate she'd eaten with and slept under the same roof as. Yuna knew that discovering the identity of Yui's killer would naturally mean having to witness the scene of her death, and so she had gone in thinking she was prepared. But when faced with that tragic scene that far exceeded her imagination, Yuna pounded the desk with trembling lips.
ひどい。こんなの。
This is horrible! Yuna... Sorry, Yui was dragged into the dim room and bashed with a long timber like she were an object, thrashed again and again with thorough prejudice. Soon enough, Yui lost the will to fight back. Her assailant reached for her clothes and...
こんなの人間のやることじゃない。
This is inhuman! Yui instinctively turned away from that horrendous scene. Yui's sobs echoed through the musty basement from the speakers. The monitor showed her face warped with despair and tears as she cried for her assailant to stop. Once her assailant had finished up, they took a shotgun that had been lying in the corner of the hut and shot Yui. Yui's body jolted, and blood splattered across the screen. She lay there on the verge of death, her throat faintly shaking. Help me! Yuna's heart froze when she heard her name come through the speakers. Yui had called for her. She sought help from none other than Yuna. Yuna covered her mouth and stifled a scream. Why wasn't I there when Yui needed me the most? Why couldn't I have found her sooner? Yuna felt the urge to kill herself rise. Her heart was gnawed by regret. For a while, Yuna lay on her knees, spacing out. Eventually, she got back up on her feet. You won't get away with this. All thoughts of getting through this game had already completely vanished from Yuna's mind. She gave in to the rage welling from the bottom of her heart and fiercely typed away on the keyboard. The monitors in front of Yuna were all displaying footage from the current game field in real time. I'll make you pay if it's the last thing I do. She would find the assailants who had sunk their poisonous fangs into Yui and make them pay with their life. She would not allow them to escape this game with their life. She couldn't afford to let that demon in human skin return to the world of man. Yuna acted solely in accordance to that sense of duty. Where the hell are you hiding? But though she was checking every single monitor, she couldn't find them anywhere. It shouldn't be possible to give the surveillance cameras a slip, should it? Though the surveillance camera has had many blind spots, they still covered most of the game field. One could say it was nigh impossible to avoid their sights unless you knew where all the cameras were located. If there are any places where the cameras can't spot you, then where would they be? They encompass the surface, so perhaps underwater? Or maybe up in the trees? Or underground? In terms of areas where one can move around undetected, the only place the cameras didn't show was the inside of the surveillance room itself. It can't be! The moment that suspicion leapt into Yuna's mind, she felt someone approach her from behind. She instinctively jumped back, grabbed her Beretta off the nearby desk, turned it over her shoulder, and 2 gunshots roared simultaneously. What the hell am I doing? It was an hour after Shuhei Fujita split up from Hitomi, went around on his own. They spotted Yuna in the deserted village. Yuna's player number was Jack. Converted into numbers, that was 11. In other words, she was a target that had to be taken out for Shuhei. But he still hadn't reached an answer for the question that he'd been tormenting himself with since the previous night. Struck with such indecision, Shuhei waited for Yuna to come back out of the central control facility she entered. Sure is taking her time. She didn't notice me, did she? It was hard to believe that she noticed he was tailing her and run away. Just as Shuhei was considering whether to follow her into the facility or not. Gunfire? Gunshots were sounding from within the facility. Perhaps Yuna and another player had come across each other in the facility. And Shuhei was struck with that possibility. He ran for the facility, urged on by an emotion even he didn't comprehend. He pushed open the door and entered the first floor lobby. The deafening howls of gunshots from before had faded, restoring silence to the facility. It'd be best to assume the battle's already over. In that case, who died? Was it Yuna or the other player? Shuhei carefully walked forward as he looked around when his eyes caught sight of a baffling image. There was a door. No, lid was probably a more apt expression, leading underground. There was a hole in the corner of the linoleum floor. Just then, Shuhei heard someone running through the facility. Had the winner of the battle noticed Shuhei and fled? What if they did that? That meant they probably wouldn't be coming back. Even if that was Yuna, Shuhei likely wouldn't be able to catch up to them. But Shuhei was more concerned about this entrance to a basement room right in front of him. An ominous aura emanated from it. All I can do is check it out, I guess. What is this place? Countless monitors covered the wall, but all they showed was black. None of them were working. The desktop PC in the middle of the room had been sprayed with a buckshot, rendering it completely silent. And in the corner of the room was a red-haired girl, leaning against the wall as she held her abdomen.
Yuna?
Is she dead? That voice. Is that you, Shuhei? You're still breathing? Hey now, don't go killing me off just yet. Though she was putting on a brave face, Yuna's voice was feeble. Shuhei could tell her death was at hand. Yuna noticed Shuhei's change in complexion at that moment. Hey, am I gonna die? Yeah. You're beyond help. It's only a matter of time. I see. Do you have any last words? Last words, huh? There was a lot I wanted to say with you, but I've forgotten. Hey, instead of that, can I ask you a favor? If it's within my power. Come over here and hold my hand. Please. Yuna walked over to Yuna and kneeled by her side. He took Yuna's blood-stained hand to his own and held it tight. He could clearly feel her body temperature falling from all the blood loss. So, what do I do next? Just keep holding my hand.
俺なんかでいいのか？
You sure you wanted to be someone like me?
ええ。
Yes. Yuna's eyes vacantly stared off into space, nearly devoid of light. She probably couldn't even see Shuhei's face anymore. She feebly gripped Shuhei's hands to reaffirm his existence.
ユナ、お前は結局何者だったんだ？
Yuna, just who were you in the end?
私はリピーターよ。
I'm a repeater.
リピーター？
A repeater?
そう。このゲームの経験者。
Yes. Someone who's played this game before. Shuhei understood everything when he heard those words.
そうか。だからお前はいろいろと詳しかったんだな。
I see. So that's why you knew so much, huh?
でも、だったらどうしてユイや俺たちを無関係の人間を助けようとした？
Well, in that case, why'd you try to save people like Yui and us? We had nothing to do with you.
お前にはセカンドステージがあることが最初から分かっていたはずなのに。
You should have known about the second stage from the start, so why?
それが私の役目だから。
Because it was my duty.
どういう意味だ？
What do you mean?
前にね、私のために命を捨てた人がいたの。
In the past, there was someone who gave up their life for me.
本当は私が死んで彼が生き残るはずだった。
In reality, he was supposed to live, while I would die.
あいつが生き残るはずだった時間をもらって私は今日まで生きてきた。
So I took the time he should have lived, and survived all the way until today.
だから今度は私が彼から預かった命を誰かにあげるの。
So this time, I would give the life he gave me to others.
それが私の役目。
That was my role. My duty, sorry.
違うわね。
No, that's wrong.
きっと私は彼に怒られたくなかっただけ。
I probably just didn't want to be mad at me.
胸を張って誇れる生き方をしたかった。それだけなのかも。
Maybe I just wanted to be proud of the way I lived. A smile ran across Yuna's face as she ran through those nostalgic memories.
ずっとね、周平のことが心配だった。
I've been worried about you this whole time.
琴美がいなくなって周平壊れちゃいそうで怖かったから。
When Kotomi died, I was scared that you were going to break.
あなたの気持ちが痛いほどよくわかったから。
Because I understood how you felt so well that it hurts.
こんな時に他人の心配してる場合じゃないだろう。
This isn't the time to be worrying about others. After Kotomi's death, Shuhei fell into pure chaos, fighting to deny reality. But here Yuna was, accepting her own inevitable death and worrying only about Shuhei.
もう私は無理だもん。
I mean, I'm already a lost cause. The regret of not being able to do anything for Kotomi was hitting Shuhei with full force. The sight of Yuna gallantly worrying for Shuhei, even though she was on the brink of death, overlapped with the image of his childhood friend.
なんでユーナもそんな風に笑うんだ。
How can you smile like that?
どうしてそんな目で俺を見るんだ。
Why are you looking at me like that?
助けてって。まだ死にたくないって素直に言えよ。
Be honest and beg for help. Say you don't want to die.
だってさ
Well, I mean...
周平泣き出しそうだったから。
You looked like you were about to cry, so...
だから泣かせたくないなって。
So I don't want to make you cry.
俺はお前のことを殺そうとしてたんだぞ。
I tried to kill you, you know?
俺のクリアにはジャックのユーナの死が必須条件なんだ。
My clear condition calls for the death of the Jack. That's you, Yuna.
そして死にかけているお前の姿に俺は安堵している。
And I'm relieved to see that you're dying.
そんな奴に最後を見取られてお前は本当にそれでいいのか。
Are you really okay spending your last moments caring for a bastard like that?
ユーナ
ちょっと聞こえなかった。
Oh, sorry. I couldn't hear you.
何今度はちゃんと聞いてるから。
What did you say? I'll be listening this time.
だから俺は
Like I said, I'm...
なのにどうして
So, why?
なんだ前の周平ちゃん。
Oh, hey. The old Shuhei's back.
ユーナ
いいや。バトンタッチ。
Yeah. Alright. I'm passing the baton to you now.
おいしっかりしろユーナ。
Hey, get a hold of yourself, Yuna.
バトンタッチって何をだよ。
What do you mean by that?
勝手にそんなもん押し付けてくんなよ。
Don't force something like that onto me.
ごめん。
Sorry.
なんでお前も琴美も俺に謝るんだ。
Why are you and Kotomi apologizing to me?
謝んなよ頼むから。
Don't apologize. I'm begging you.
周平クリア
Win this game.
ユーナおいユーナユーナ
No matter how many times he called to her, Yuna never responded. With a smile on her face, Yuna's limbs sprawled to the ground and never moved again. Shuhei gently lowered her hand to the floor.
何がクリア頑張れ。
In this game? Are you serious?
どうして今の俺にそんなこと。
How can I even do that now? Shuhei sluggishly got to his feet. And after giving Yuna's body one last glance, he left the surveillance room. Okay, I'm just gonna take a quick 5-minute break. I'll be right back, so just wait. Okay, I'm back now. Let's continue. After that, Shuhei spent the final day of the game doing nothing. He couldn't think of anything he should do. He visited Kotomi's grave, then wandered around the field with no destination in mind. The field that served as a similar graveyard for many other people. Finally tired of walking, Shuhei headed for his rendezvous with Hitomi. He leaned against the wall of the clinic and waited. Before long, she showed up.
報告します。
I have a report.
標的の発見はならず、目的を達することはできませんでした。
I was unable to fulfill my goal of finding the target.
力が及ばず、申し訳ございません。
My sincerest apologies for being so useless.
いや、構わない。
No, it's okay.
もう瞳に動いてもらう必要はなくなったんだ。
You don't need to move around anymore.
それはどういう意味でしょうか。
What do you mean by that?
ユーナが死んだ。俺のクリア条件はこれで達成だ。
Yuna's dead. With this, my clear condition has been fulfilled.
本当ですか？
Truly? Hitomi smiled.
おめでとうございます、周平様。
Congratulations, Master Shuhei.
ありがとう。
Yeah, thanks.
これも全部お前のおかげだ。
This was all thanks to you.
いえ、私はそんな。
No, I am unworthy of such praise.
今までご苦労だったな。
Thanks for all your hard work. And with those words, Shuhei grabbed Hitomi by the hand and embraced her.
俺がクリアできたのは瞳のおかげだ。
It's because of you I managed to win. Shuhei stroked her hair as he whispered into her ear. Thank you.
周平様、嬉しいです。
Master Shuhei, I am so happy.
私は、粕谷瞳は、周平様にお仕えできたことを本当に幸せに思います。
I am truly happy that I, Hitomi Kasuya, managed to be of service to you.
これからも一生、私は周平様のメイドです。
I am now and forevermore your maid. Hitomi felt her arms with strength and returned Shuhei's embrace. Shuhei looked down at the nape of her neck. Sorry. Huh? Shuhei struck Hitomi's neck with a syringe she'd been hiding in his right hand and injected its contents into her.
周平様、何を？
Master Shuhei? What are you doing? The drug Shuhei had given Hitomi was an instant sedative used for surgeries. It wasn't effective for long, but its effects manifested immediately. It only took a few dozen seconds after injection to render the patient unconscious. It was a powerful medicine that could easily kill someone with an overdose. Shuhei wasn't a doctor, but he had learned the drug's name on the news at one point. He'd stumbled across it in the abandoned clinic on the first day, and kept it hidden all this time.
周平様、
Master...
どうして？
Master Shuhei... Why? Hitomi stumbled, fell to her knees, and called Shuhei's name.
私を殺すおつもりなのですか？
Are you trying to kill me?
私を殺してあなたが生き残る。ひどいシナリオですが、それが運命なら従いましょう。
You kill me and then survive. A horrible scenario, but if that's what fate dictates, I shall obey it.
でも、だっ ったらこんなことをしなくても。私は周平様が命じれば自ら命を絶ちました。
But you need not have resorted to this. I would have taken my own life if you had but given the order.
私はそんなにも信用がなかったのですか？
Did you have so little faith in me?
違う。
You're wrong, Hitomi.
死ぬのはお前じゃない。俺だ。
It's not you who's gonna die. It's me. What? Hitomi's eyes widened. Shuhei looked right back into her beautiful eyes.
瞳、お前のクリア条件は2時間以上同じエリアにとどまらないこと。
Hitomi, your clear condition says you can't stay in the same area for more than 2 hours.
現在22時12分。もうここで寝ていればそれだけでクリア条件を満たせるんだ。
It's 10:12 right now. If you sleep, you'll still fulfill your clear condition.
だからあとは寝ていろ。目覚める頃にはゲームは終わっている。
So sleep. By the time you wake up, the game will be over.
でも周平様、だったら周平様はどうするおつもりで？
But, in that case, what do you intend to do, Master Shuhei?
一つだけやり残したことがあるんだ。それを終えたら俺は自分で自分にケリをつける。
There's still something I've got left to do. Once I'm done, I'll settle my own personal score.
でもそのことを話したらお前俺を止めるだろ。
But you would have stopped me if I told you that, right?
だから俺は
That's why I...
周平様！
Master Shuhei!
ごめんな。
I'm sorry, Hitomi.
俺はお前のご主人様には最後までなれなかった。生きるっていう約束も守ってやる。
I couldn't be your master even at the very end. I couldn't keep my promise with you to live.
それでもせめて最後の命令をさせてくれ。
But even so, let me give you one last order at the very least.
生きろ、瞳。
Live on, Hitomi.
いや！
No!
あなたが死ぬのや私も一緒に。
If you are going to die, I shall go with you. Hitomi desperately wrenched out her voice. But her tenacious body finally gave in to the strength of the drug. Hitomi collapsed like her power had gone out. Shuhei took Hitomi and laid her on the floor of the clinic. He injected her with a longer-lasting sedative while she was asleep, so she probably wouldn't wake up even if there was an earthquake. Shuhei bound her hands and feet to be safe, being careful not to move her too much. Shuhei's heart filled with pain when he saw Hitomi's peacefully sleeping face. Now that he thought about it, it may have been her presence that barely kept him going after he'd lost Hitomi. Back then, he'd just been in need of distraction. But this girl who had trusted Shuhei from the bottom of her heart had served him gallantly and indeed saved him.
これでいいんだよな。
This is right, isn't it, Yuna? But no answer came to that question. Shuhei gave Hitomi one last look and left the clinic. He checked his surroundings when he got outside. He didn't see anyone around, but having faith she was there, Shuhei raised his voice.
いるんだろ、春菜。出てきてくれ。
I know you're there, Haruna. Come on out. Soon after, she appeared.
周平、あのメイドはどうしたの？
Shuhei, what happened to that maid? Shuhei immediately lied.
殺したよ。薬を使ってな。
I killed her, using drugs.
万が一のこともあるし、とどめを刺した方がいいと思うけど。
You sure you don't want to deal a finishing blow just to be safe?
いや、いいんだ。無駄弾は使いたくない。
No, it's fine. I don't want to waste bullets.
そう。
I see.
なあ、春菜。
Hey, Haruna.
何？
What?
少し付き合ってくれないか。話したいことがあるんだ。
Can we talk for a little while? Can we walk for a little while? I want to talk. Haruna was bewildered by Shuhei's invitation for a moment. She checked the watch fastened around her slender wrist.
少しだけなの。
Just for a little.
私にはまだやらなきゃいけないことが残っているから。
I still have something I have to take care of.
時間は取らせないさ。
I won't take much of your time.
ちょっと世間話がしたいだけだ。
I just want to have a little chat.
分かった。
Sure. Okay. Shuhei walked off. Haruna jogged over to him until they were walking side by side.
春菜には家族はいるのか？
Do you have a family, Haruna?
ええ。
Yes.
両親と年の離れた弟と妹の5人暮らし。
There are 5 of us. My parents, and a brother and sister, a decent bit younger than me.
全員血はつながっていないの。お母さんは小さい頃に大病を患って子供が産めない体なんだって。
None of us are blood related. My mother became severely ill as a child and became infertile as a result.
だから春菜を。
That's why I took you in?
うん。養子にしたんだって。
Yes, I'm adopted.
お父さんはそんなお母さんの事情を知った上で結婚を申し込んだの。
My father married my mother, fully aware of her condition.
もちろん周囲は大反対。でも結局お父さんは意志を曲げなかった。
His family was strongly opposed, of course, but in the end, my father would not yield.
情に流されやすくて弱いものを見ると放っておけなくてとんでもないお人よし。
He's a very soft person who's easily swayed by emotion and can't bring it in him to abandon the weak.
私のことも実の娘のように可愛がってくれたし、時には厳しく叱ってくれた。
He's loved me as his own daughter and scolded me whenever I got out of line.
いい親父さんだな。
Sounds like a good father.
うん。でも私はいい娘にはなれなかったかも。
Yes, but I'm worried I haven't been a good daughter to him.
どういう意味だ？
What do you mean?
養子にもらわれた当時はね、全然懐けなかったから。
Back when I was adopted, I was a total brat.
本当のお母さんじゃないくせにっていうのが口癖。それでいつもお母さんを泣かせてた。
Whenever my mom tried to set me straight, I'd always tell me she wasn't my real mother, and she'd cry each time.
学校でも問題ばかり起こしてたし、家出して警察に保護されたこともあったかな。
I kept causing problems at school, and there was even a time where I ran away from home and was caught by the police.
へえ、意外と不良娘だったんだな。
Huh. So you turned out to be a real delinquent, huh?
そうね。
I suppose so.
怖かったのよ。大切なものを見つけて、もしもそれを失ってしまったら、今度こそ自分が壊れてしまうと思ったから。
I was scared. I thought that if I gained something precious only to lose it all over again, I'd break for real that time.
なくしてしまうくらいなら、二度と誰も好きになってならない。家族なんていらない。
So if I'm going to lose them anyway, it's better not to love anyone ever again. I don't need a family.
あの頃の私はずっとそう思ってた。
That's how I used to think back then.
今はどうだな。
And now?
大好きだよ。二人のことも弟と妹のことも。
I love them. Both my parents and my siblings.
そうか。いい家族ができてよかったな。
I see. I'm glad you found a good family. Yeah. Just then, the normally stoic Haruna broke out into an innocent smile. Shuhei reached his right hand out to her head as though it were the most natural thing in the world. Haruna froze up and reacted with wariness.
悪い。つい。
Sorry, force of habit.
ちょっと驚いただけ。
No. I was just a little surprised, that's all.
いいよ。
Go ahead. Shuhei frantically pulled his hand back, but Haruna just gave him a small smile and let her shoulders relax. Shuhei brought his hand back in and gently ruffled her hair this time. Haruna silently closed her eyes in tranquility.
昔よくこうやって頭を撫でてくれた。
He used to rub my head like this all the time back then.
そうだ。あれだ。
Yeah, it really has been a long time, Haruna. Shuhei smiled faintly as he called his sister's name. Haruna gave her brother a sad smile of her own in turn.
いつから気づいてたの？
When did you figure it out?
最初に会った時から違和感はあった。確信したのはついさっきだ。
Something about you nagged at me since we first met. It was only a little while ago that I became sure of it, though.
お前は最初から。
Did you figure it out from the start?
うん。
Yeah.
姿も声も全然変わっちゃってたけど、もしかしたらって思った。
You looked and sounded completely different, but the possibility nagged at me.
藤田の名前を聞いた時にピンときたの。
And once you told me your last name was Fujita, it all clicked together. When Shuhei had saved Haruna from falling off the cliff on the first day, he had the slightest sense something was off. He felt that Haruna's face had looked familiar. In hindsight, it should have been obvious. Shuhei had felt Haruna's features resembled their mother's.
なあ。春菜もリピーターだったのか。
Hey, you're a repeater too, aren't you?
なんだ、それにも気づいてたんだ。
Oh, you figured that one out too?
まあな。じゃなきゃ初日に説明会場を抜け出したお前の行動に説明がつかないからな。
Kinda. I couldn't think of any other reason why you slipped out of the briefing otherwise.
そう。私がリピーターになった理由を聞きたい。
I see. Do you want to know why I became one?
ああ、教えてくれ。
Yeah, tell me.
お父さんの会社が数年前に経営に失敗してすごい借金を作ったの。
My father's company collapsed a few years ago, leaving him in crippling debt.
転がり落ちるのはあっという間だったの。
It was only a matter of time before everything came tumbling down.
家にあるものがどんどんなくなっていくの。
As time went by, more and more of our things were repossessed.
一昨日は花瓶、昨日はソファー、今日は食器棚がなくなってる。明日は何がなくなるんだろうってあの頃は毎日思ってた。
One day it was the vases, then the sofas, then the cupboards, and eventually, we spent each day wondering what would be taken next.
最後には住む家さえなくなってしまった。
Finally, we even lost our house.
地位も名声も地に落ちて後に残ったのは莫大な借金だけ。
If our status and reputation all ground to dust, all we had to show for it was massive debt.
お父さんはいつも弟たちにごめんなって謝るの。
My father would always apologize to my brother and sister.
私にも同じ風に謝ってきて、でも目の周りは泣き晴らして真っ赤になってて、
He apologized to me the same way, but he'd end up weeping his eyes out until they were red.
見てられなかった。
It was very painful to watch.
そんな時このゲームに初めて参加したの。
It was around then that I participated in my first game. Haruna looked up to the skies as if gazing at a distant scenery.
最初は何も分からず逃げ回っているだけだっ
At first, all I could do was run around in confusion.
た。だけど他のプレイヤーたちが私の知らないところで殺し合って、気がついたら最終日に生き残っていたのは私だけ。
The other players killed each other out of my line of sight. When I came to my senses, the last day had come and I was the only one left.
クリア条件も難しいものではなかったし、運が良かったのよ。
I was lucky. My clear condition hadn't been all that difficult.
そうしたら運営の男が言ったの。ゲームクリアの報酬に何か欲しいものはあるかって。
After that, a man from the administration asked me what I would like as a prize for winning the game.
だから私はお金が欲しいって答えた。
So I told him I wanted money.
運営が用意した額はお父さんが背負った借金に比べれば微々たるものだったけど、一生働いても稼げないような金額。
The sum the administrators prepared was paltry compared to my father's debt, but it was more than I ever could have dreamed of earning in a lifetime.
それを自然な形でお父さんに渡るようにしてもらった。
And it was handed off to my father in a way that wouldn't attract suspicion.
お父さんもお母さんも喜んでいたわ。
My parents were so happy.
下の子たちも二人が嬉しそうにしているのを見て何かを感じたのね。みんなに笑顔が戻ってきた。
My siblings could tell by looking at them that something good had happened, and so we were finally able to smile again. A slightly bashful and troubled smile rose to Haruna's face. But that smile soon faded, leaving only an emotionless expression behind.
その時私は理解したの。
It was then that it hit me.
このゲームでお金を稼ぐことが私のすべきことなんだって。
My duty was to earn money through this game.
それが本当の家族みたいに接してくれたあの人たちへできる唯一の恩返しなんだって。
For it was the only way I could ever hope to repay those people who took me in and raised them as their own.
それから私はリピーターになって何度もゲームに参加した。
After that, I became a repeater, participating in multiple games.
それから幾度となく人を殺したわ。
and killed countless people.
騙して裏切って私はずっと勝ち続けた。
Deception and betrayal have become my tools of trade.
今回も最初はそのつもりだった。
I plan to use them just the same this time as well. However,
周平と出会ってしまった。
I came across you.
そこから先は周平も知っての通り、
You know the rest.
二人とも生き残る方法はないか探してみたけど、
I tried to find a way where we could both live.
結局結末は何も変わりそうにないわ。
But in the end, it doesn't seem like the result will change.
そうか。
I see. Haruna stretched her hands and sighed.
今度は私から質問してもいい？
Can I ask you a question now?
なんだ。
What is it?
吹石さんは周平の恋人だったの？
Was Fukishi your girlfriend?
どうだったんだろ
That's a good question.
うな。あいつと出会ったのはお前が養子に引き取られてから半年後くらいだ。
I met her about half a year after you were adopted.
いつもしつこく話しかけてきて、最初はうざくて仕方なかったのに、いつの間にか 人でいるのが当たり前になってた。
She kept on taunting me no matter how much I ignored her. I found her irritating at first, but it didn't take long for her presence to become like air to me.
恋人とか幼馴染っていうより兄弟みたいな感じだったのかもな。
She may have been more of a sister to me than a girlfriend or a childhood friend.
だけどもし叶うならあいつと二人で新しい家族を作ってみたい。
But if possible, I wanted to form a new family with her.
そんな夢を見ていた。
That was my dream.
そう
I see.
あいつがどう思っていたかはよくわからないけどな。ちゃんと確かめる前に言ってしまったし。
I'm not really sure how she felt, though. She passed on before I could tell for sure.
ごめんなさい
I'm sorry.
彼らが謝ることじゃない。
You don't have anything to apologize for.
違うの
No, you're wrong.
キースさんが死んだのはただの偶然なんかじゃないから。
It wasn't just a coincidence that Fukishi died. Huh?
キースさんは私が殺したようなものだよ。
I basically killed her.
どういう意味だそれ。
What's that supposed to mean?
ゲームを主催してる連中がなんでこんなことを始めたか知ってる？
Do you know why the game's organizer started something like this?
なんでこのゲームにファーストステージとセカンドステージがあるか周平は知ってる？
Do you know why the first and second stages exist, Shuhei?
私たちに殺し合いをさせて見せ物にしたいだけならこんな回りくどいルールにしなくてもいくらでも方法はあるはずなのに。
If all they wanted was to make a show out of us killing each other, there are many other ways that don't require such roundabout rules.
どうして？
Then why?
彼らが見たいのはただの殺し合いじゃないから。
Because they want to see more than a simple massacre.
ファーストステージのクリア条件はプレイヤー同士が互いに協力し合わなきゃ達成できないようになっている。
The first stage clear conditions are designed so they can't be accomplished without cooperating with other players.
見ず知らずの他人が集められてすぐに仲良くなんてなれるわけない。
You can't just throw a bunch of strangers together and expect them to get along right away.
一人一人の理解と協力があって初めて全員の生還が可能になるの。
Through mutual understanding and cooperation, it's possible for everyone to survive at first.
だけどセカンドステージのクリア条件
But the second stage is another story.
そうやってファーストステージで信頼を築き上げた者同士が殺し合うようにできてるのよ。
It's designed so that all those players who spent the first stage establishing trust with one another now have to kill each other.
このゲームの本質は殺し合いのショーなんかじゃない。
This game's essence isn't a massacre show.
大切な誰かを殺さなくては自分が生き残れない。そういう状況に置かれたプレイヤーがあがき苦しむ姿を見せることなの。
To show the players struggling and suffering by putting them in a situation requiring them to kill those they hold dear if they wish to live.
それ。
What the hell? In movies and novels, sacrificing one's life for another was a heroic act that made for a very moving tale. Seeing characters struggle to choose between their own life and the lives of the ones they loved, evoked tears of sympathy from restless spectators. For the way people lived and died was the greatest entertainment of them all.
そんなこと。
So what you're saying is,
現実の世界でやろうとした連中がいるってことなのか。
there's people in the real world who actually tried that? If Haruna spoke the truth, then was this truly the work of humans?
私が言ってることの意味周平にならわかるよ。
You understand what I'm getting at, right?
子供が死んだのはただの偶然なんかじゃなくて。
Code Naomi's death wasn't just a mere coincidence.
実の妹である私がいたから周平がここにいる。
You're here because I, your flesh and blood sister, is here.
私がゲームに参加していたから周平と吹石さんは役者に選ばれた。
You and Fukishi were cast for this game because I participated in it.
悲劇を演じるために主人公とヒロインとして。
As the tragic hero and heroine of this play.
二人がゲームに巻き込まれた根本的な原因があるとするなら、それは私。
I am the root cause the two of you were caught up in this game.
だから周平が吹石さんの仇を取りたいって言うなら、
So if you want to get revenge for Fukishi,
私も殺すしかないんだ。
then you'll have to kill me. Once the pair reached a small hill next to the cliffside where they first run into each other, Haruna casually walked away from Shuhei and stood face to face with him. It was finally time for the game to end. Shuhei felt something akin to relief as he thought that. Haruna's silhouette was illuminated by the pale moonlight.
そろそろ時間よ。
It's almost time.
春菜、
最後に話ができて本当によかっ
I'm glad we got a chance to talk at the end. Haruna clutched her crossbow. The tip of the dully shining arrow was pointing straight at Shuhei.
た。私のプレイヤーナンバーは3。クリア条件はプレイヤーを殺害した他プレイヤー全員の死亡よ。
My player is number 3. My clear condition calls for the death of all players who have killed other players.
だから後をだはずねって殺さなければならなかった。私は生きるために人を殺す人間よ。
That's why I had to kill that Hatsune Otoda girl. Killing others is my only discourse now.
そしてこのゲームから周平と私2人が同時に生きて帰ることはできない。
And there's no way for the two of us to survive this game.
生き残れるのはどちらか一人だけ。
So, which one of us will live? Shuhei took out his PDA and checked his personal data. Written there was the same sentence as always. Death of all prime number players. Haruna was a prime number, meaning her death was necessary for his survival. In the end, the siblings who'd finally reunited after 10 years had to kill each other. It seems Haruna had learned Shuhei's clear condition somehow. Their fate was precisely what the organizers had planned for.
俺も最後に春菜と話ができてよかった。
I'm also glad we got a chance to talk at the end. Shuhei pointed his gun at Haruna. The girl at the end of his sights really did look a lot like their mother.
今回は私の最後のゲームだ。
This is my final game.
このゲームをクリアすればお父さんの借金が全て返済できるから。
If I win this one, then my father's debt will be fully paid off.
私ここで負けるわけにはいかない。
Meaning, I can't afford to lose here.
そう
I see.
だからといって俺もここで無抵抗に殺されてやるわけにはいかない。
But that said, I can't just let you take me down without a fight.
その結果自分の妹を手にかけることになったとしても
Even if that means bringing harm to my own sister. Haruna looked at her feet, picked something off the ground. It was the proof of that countless battles had been fought in this place. A rusted bullet cartridge.
これが合図。
This will be the signal.
いい
Is that alright with you?
あ
Yeah. For that answer, Shuhei looked down slightly.
なあ
Say, Haruna,
もしも別の形で再会できていたら
if we reunite in a different fashion,
俺たちはまた家族に戻れたのか
do you think we could have gone back to being family?
そうねもしそんな別の未来があったなら私たちはきっ
Well, if another future like that existed, I'm sure we... Haruna didn't say any more. There was no point to saying it. Even Shuhei thought it was a stupid question. In order to shake off her sentiments, Haruna flicked the cartridge high in the air. A piece of metal gleamed dully in the moonlight as it drew an arc, flipping like a coin. Shuhei and Haruna readied their weapons once more. Then, as if to break the spell that had frozen time between them, the cartridge hit the ground with a dry sound.
来て
Wake up.
起きてお兄ちゃん
Wake up, big brother. Okay, okay. I'll get up in a minute, so don't rush me.
ほら起きなさいってば学校遅れちゃうよ
Hey, you've got to get up now or you'll be late for school. Jeez, I get it already. Don't be so impatient, Haruna. I'll be fine. So just give me 10 more minutes.
知らないんだから
Fine, it's not my fault if you're late. Cold wind from the mountains rustled Shuhei and Haruna's hair. Shuhei's bullet grazed Haruna's hair and vanished into the dark of the night. Haruna's arrow flew high above Shuhei's head and vanished into the night sky.
なんで当てなかったの
Why didn't you aim for me?
お前こそなんでだよ
I could ask you the same thing. Haruna lowered her crossbow and looked at Shuhei. Her eyes welled with tears that streamed down her cheeks.
撃てないよ
I can't shoot you.
頭では理解してるのこのままじゃ生き残れない
In my head, I know that I can't that I won't be able to survive unless I do this.
だけど私には無理だよ
But I can't do it. Haruna's sorrowful screams pierced Shuhei's heart. Shuhei understood her wavering feeling so well that it hurt.
そんなんじゃダメだろ
It can't be like that.
春菜お前は生きて帰るんだ
Haruna, you have to survive and go back home.
お前にはまだ帰りを待ってる奴らがいるんだから
You still have people waiting for you to go home after all.
そんな残酷なこと言わないでよ
Don't say something so cruel.
だったら仕方ないな
I guess I have no choice. Shuhei's eyes fell down to the smoking muzzle of his SOCOM. There were still several bullets left in there. Just as Shuhei was about to perform the action he envisioned in his mind. What? His whole body jolted at the sudden gunshot. Huh? Haruna's eyes focused on Shuhei, her face warped with confusion and surprise. Her eyes glanced at Shuhei's chest. No, sorry. Following her eyes, Shuhei glanced down at his chest. A red flower had blossomed in the center of his chest. Right after that, intense pain and vertigo assaulted Shuhei's body. Unable to withstand the intense nausea, Shuhei threw up everything in his throat, and a large amount of blood splattered onto the ground. Haruna, run away! Look out, Shuhei! Another gunshot rang out, and the bullet pierced Shuhei's back. Unable to stand any longer, Shuhei fell to the ground. Haruna ran over to Shuhei and held his body.
Yeah, いいね。兄弟愛ってやつは。
Oh man, sibling love is just so beautiful, wouldn't you agree? And just then, a sneer came from her head in place, as though it were in place of applause. Who's there?
ひどいな、春菜ちゃん。説明会の時に自己紹介しただろ?
Why, I'm hurt, Haruna. Didn't I introduce myself back at the briefing? そうそう。覚えててくれて嬉しいぜ。 Righto. Glad you remember. Haruna had met Daisuke at the briefing on the first day of the game. But that's not all he was to Haruna. He was an important key to fulfilling her clear condition. One of her targets. How dare you? How dare you shoot Shuhei?
おいおい、なんで睨むんだよ。感謝されることはあっても、恨まれる覚えはないはずだぜ。
Well now, what did I do to deserve the evil eye? I don't think I've done anything meriting hatred. Only praise.
そいつが死ななきゃ、春菜ちゃんは生き残れないんだろ?
I mean, you can't live unless he dies, right?
だから俺が代わりに殺してやったんだ。どうせ生かしてはおけないもんな。誰がやっても変わらねえよ。
So I did the favor of shooting him for you. It's not like he'd be allowed to live, so who cares who does the deed?
周平はあなたの殺害対象だったの。
Do you have to kill him for your clear condition?
いや、俺のクリア条件とは関係ねえさ。
Nope. You don't have shit to do with that. Daisuke took out his PDA and showed it to Haruna.
半径2メートル以内に同時に3人以上のプレイヤーを侵入させない。
Do not allow 3 or more players to get within 2 meters of you at the same time. It was the easiest of the 14 conditions, and by some twist of fate, the same one Haruna had in her first game. All one had to do to fulfill it was hide and avoid contact with others.
だったらどうして？
Then why?
なーに、これも余興ってやつだよ。
Because it's fun, that's why.
せっかくのゲームだからな。楽しまなきゃもったいないだろ?
This is a game, so it'd be a waste not to enjoy it, don't you think?
楽しむ。
Enjoy it? Haruna frowned at that word, unfit for describing the game. Daisuke's face was twisted in a monstrous smirk, and something dangerous lurked in his eyes. But Haruna had already known for a while that he was a wolf in sheep's clothing. You're the one who killed Mariko Ueno, aren't you?
Huh? なんでお前がそれを知ってる?
Huh? How'd you know that? Haruna's special function was show a list of all player encounters. Allow her to learn when other players have been within close range of each other. And right after Daisuke had last made contact with Mariko, he became registered as one of Haruna's targets. In other words, Mariko's killer was none other than the young man before her.
まさかお前もあの地下室のことを知っていたのか?
Wait, don't tell me you knew about that basement room too.
地下室何のこと?
Basement room? What are you talking about?
説明会が開かれた施設の地下にあるモニタールームのことさ.
The monitor room under the facility where the briefing was held. Haruna had participated in multiple games seen fun in the assembly hall before, but she hadn't even known about the existence of that room at all.
何のことかわからねえって顔してんな。だったら教えてやるよ。
Looks like you don't have a clue what I'm talking about. Then allow me to enlighten you.
あの場所にはプレイヤーに隠された地下室があって、フィールドに設置された全ての監視カメラの映像が見れるのさ。
In that facility is a basement room hidden from the players, where you can see the footage from all the cameras on the field.
それだけじゃねえ。この首輪には超小型 CCD カメラとマイクが仕込まれてんだ。
But that's not all. Our collars all have tiny CCD cameras and mics built into them.
その映像も音声も全部その場にいながらにして確認できるんだよ。
You can check all the footage and audio right from that room.
そんな場所が
I never knew there was a place like that.
しかもリアルタイムの映像だけじゃなくって、ゲームが始まった瞬間から現在までの映像記録を遡って見ることまでできる。
I'm not just talking real-time footage either. You can play back any of the video logs from the start of the game to the present too.
他のプレイヤーがどこにいるのか、どんなクリア条件で何を目的に行動しているのか、全てがお見通しってわけさ。
They can tell you everything. The other players' locations, clear conditions, lands, all of it.
つまり、このゲームで俺を欺ける奴は一人もいなくなったってことだ。
Meaning no one could pull the wool under my eyes anymore.
あとは簡単だ。プレイヤー同士が勝手に殺し合うように火種を撒いてやればいい。
The rest was simple. I just had to light a few fires so the players would kill each other off.
周平が運営の男と話している映像を見つけた俺は、そのことを黒川っていうイカレ野郎に垂れ込んでやったのさ。
When I found the footage of Shuhei talking to the administrator guy, I squealed on him to that crazy fuck Kurokawa.
まあ適当に尾ひれをつけさせてもらったけどな。
Well, I may have exaggerated a detail or two though.
なんでそんなことを?
Why would you do that?
あなたはむやみに争いを起こす必要なんてなかったはずなのに。
You didn't even have a reason to go around recklessly starting fights, so why?
なんで? そんなもん邪魔な連中をぶっ殺すために決まってるじゃねえか。
Why? Because I wanted to kill those bastards who got in my way. Why else?
特に周平と司の二人だ。
Especially Shuhei and Tsukasa.
いかにも自分は利口ですって顔して人様に命令してくるんだ。いけすかねったらねえよな。
The others around with those smug looks on their faces, so confident in their superiority, it pissed me the hell off.
まあ残念ながらこの作戦は失敗だった。
Well, that plan went up in smoke, much to my luck.
邪魔な男どもは全員生き残って目当てだった琴美ちゃんが死んじまったからな。惜しいことしたよ。
The guys I hated all survived, while my Mark Tomi ended up dying. It was a real shame.
じゃあ、あなたのせいで吹石さんは。
What? Then it's your fault Fukishi died.
まあそういうこった。周平は最後まで本当の敵を見誤ってたってことだよ。
Basically. So up to the very end, Shuhei was focusing on the wrong guy.
どいつもこいつも五体操な理屈を並べて自分の能力を誇示したがる割には案外素直に騙されてくれるのな。
For all that big show they put on, oh so smart they were, they end up falling for it surprisingly easy.
そういう意味じゃ意外だったのは初音だ。
Yes. In that sense, Hasune was a real surprise.
あいつだけは俺の本性に気づきやがった。さすが役者やってただけのことはあるな。素人の演技は通用しないらしいぜ。
She's the only one who saw right through me. That's an actor for you, I guess. She could spot a crappy performance when she saw one.
だから真っ先にあいつを痛めつけてやったのさ。誰かに相談する気も失せるような方法でな。
So I wasted no time giving her a good lesson in pain, in a way that ensured she wouldn't tell a soul about what happened.
最低。あんた人間のクズよ。
You bastard! You're the scum of the earth!
そう褒めるなって。
You're making me blush.
まあそのせいで初音もほんの半日ですっかり歪んじまったよ。挙句に殺人者になっちまったのは予想外だったけどな。
Anyway, as a result, it only took half a day to corrupt Hatsune. That said, I sure as hell didn't expect her to turn into a killer after all that.
そのくせ結局一番憎いはずの俺は殺せず、お前に殺されたってあたりはさすがに同情するよ。揃いも揃ってかわいそうにね。
In the end, she failed to get her revenge and ended up dying at your hands. I can pity her there. She has my sympathies. Daisuke's mouth was warped in an ecstatic grin, like he was telling a story worth boasting about. To Haruna, he looked like a hideous beast in human skin. A human who'd abandoned reason reverted to his primal instincts. And at the same time, Haruna received an answer to a question she had long stewed over. It was because of people like him that this game existed.
次の標的にしたのはマリコとあのユイって女だ。
My next targets were Mariko and that girl Yui.
あの二人は散々逃げ回ってずいぶん手こずらせてくれたよ。
They kept running from place to place, so it was a real pain to corner them.
でもモニタールームに戻ればどこにいるのかなんて一目瞭然だ。時々居場所チェックしてあとは人間狩りさ。
But it only took me a single glance once I returned to the monitor room to pinpoint their location. I just had to keep checking back in from time to time, and the rest was a matter of hunting them down.
マリコは生意気にも打ち返してきやがったからショットガンってズドン。
Ever the wise ass, Mariko shot back at me, put a round of shotgun ammo did her in.
ちょっともったいなかったけどまあ前からあいつにはムカついてたしな。
It was kind of a waste, but then again, she always was a real pain in my ass.
その後はユイをさらって山小屋でお楽しみさ。
I took Yui away to a hut after that, where I had my fun.
このけだもの。
You monster!
そんなひどいことをしてなんで平気な顔していられるの。
How can you look so calm after committing all those atrocities?
あなたが殺した人たちにだって帰りを待ってる家族や大切な思い人がいたはずなのに。
Everyone you killed must have had families and loved ones waiting for him to come back. So why?
おい、ずいぶんと偉そうなこと言うじゃねえか。
Hey, where the hell do you even get off?
身勝手な願いのためにこれまで散々人を殺してきたリピーターの分際でよ。
My body count is nothing compared to the mounds of people you've killed to fulfill your selfish wish, Repeater.
お前がこれまでやってきたことと俺がやったことの何が違う。
How is what I've done any different from your actions?
結局は自分の欲望を叶えたかっただけだ。本質は何も変わらねえ。
In the end, you were just killing to satisfy your own desires. You and me were the same.
お前はただ人殺しの言い訳に家族を利用してるだけなんだよ。
You're just using your family as an excuse to kill. That's not true.
私は
I just...
なあ、こいつは最高に活かしたゲームだと思わないか？
Hey, don't you think this is the coolest game ever?
人間を何人殺そうと、女をどうしようと、全てが自由だ。
You can kill as many as you want and do whatever you want to girls, and there's no penalty.
その上、最後には願い事を一つ聞いてくれるって言うんだぜ。
On top of that, you get a wish grant at the end, right?
欲望のままに全てが叶う楽園のような場所じゃねえか。なあ。
This is a paradise where all your greatest dreams come true. Don't you agree?
俺はなんで自分がこのゲームに連れてこられたのかすぐに理解できたぜ。
It didn't take me long to understand why I was brought to this game.
あれを見てみな。
Take a look at that. Though she was cautious of Daisuke's actions, Haruna looked in the direction he pointed. Standing there was a single rotten old tree with a camera in its trunk, staring right at them.
あのレンズの向こう側でけだものどもが舌なめずりしてやがる。
There's a bunch of monsters drinking up everything we do on the other side of those lenses.
連中は人間が夢や希望を失う瞬間に見せる最高の表情をご所望だ。
They want to see the wonderful faces people make the moments their hopes and dreams all vanish into dust.
春菜ちゃんのぐしゃぐしゃに歪んだ絶望の表情をな。
And soon, they'll see your face all crumpled in despair. What?
おいおい、なんだよそのほうけた面は。
Well now, what's with that dumb look on your face?
俺がただの自慢話で長々と演説垂れていたとでも思うのか。
Do you think I came here just to brag and deliver that long-ass speech?
ゲームの終了まであと2時間かそこらだ。せいぜい楽しませてくれよ。
Still got another 2 hours until the game ends. Let's not put it to waste, shall we? Daisuke licked his lips, which curled into a repulsive smirk. Daisuke's glance sent fear through Haruna's body, and she quickly picked up her crossbow. However, because she'd fired towards Shuhei just a short while ago, there was no arrow loaded. She should have thought things through better. Why did Daisuke have to appear as Shuhei and Haruna now of all times? Why now, when Shuhei had been brought down and Haruna had no means of fighting back? Haruna scanned her surroundings for anything that could serve as a weapon. Her eyes fell on Shuhei's fallen SOCOM.
お見通しだっつーな。
I can see right through you. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, sorry about that, I'm back. Daisuke darted over to Haruna, grabbed her arms, and flung them down with all his might. Haruna fell to the ground, allowing Daisuke a chance to hang over her and hold her arms down. You bastard! Let me go!
その反抗的な態度がそそるね。
Oh man, feisty girls like you really do it for me. Daisuke tore at Haruna's clothes while running his hand down her fair skin. No! Stop! Stop this!
いい顔だ。もっとよく見せてくれよ。
Now that's the face I want to see. Give me more. No! Haruna tried fighting back, but with Daisuke's superiority in strength, all she could do was slow him down. More of her clothes were gradually torn, and Daisuke ran his dirty fingers across her body. She turned her head to protect her lips, but Daisuke just licked her cheek, undeterred. The wild panting through his nose sounded disgusting, like a pig in heat. Daisuke smiled giddily at Haruna's resistance and put his weight on her. Stop! Help me! Help me, Shuhei!
バカ! 助けに来るわけねえだろうが。とっくに死んでるよ、あいつは。
You dumbass. Help ain't coming no matter how much you cry. That son of a bitch is long gone. Daisuke gestured his chin at Shuhei as if to prove his point. Over there.
Huh?
Huh? Was the blood-stained Shuhei, standing with his gun at the ready.
春菜から離れろ。
Get the fuck off her. Though he'd been shot and it brought him unbearable pain to even move, Shuhei set his sights on Daisuke regardless. He swallowed the blood rising through his throat, fought back his nausea and vertigo, and glared right at Daisuke.
へえ、まだ生きてたのかよ、お前。
Well, well, you're still alive. Daisuke sneered. With his whole body shaking and his face pale as death, it looked like a gust of wind would be all it would take to knock Shuhei's down.
銃なんか構えちゃって。俺を撃つつもりか？マジで。
You trying to shoot at me with that thing? For real?
なんだ、おかしい。
What's so funny?
おいおい、俺の特殊機能を忘れたわけじゃねえだろうな。
Hey now, I know you haven't forgotten my special function.
半径1メートル以内にいるプレイヤーが死んだとき、この PDA の所持者を除く半径5メートル以内のプレイヤーの首輪を爆発させる。
If someone dies within 1 meter of my PDA, then I'll detonate the collars of all the players in 5 meters of it, excluding me.
俺が死んだら、春菜ちゃんの首輪もボンだ。
If I die, then Haruna's collar goes boom.
それでも撃てるのか？あ？
Can you still shoot me even then? Well...
分かったら、そこで妹がいたぶられるのを指でも加えてみてる。
If you get it, just stand there and twiddle your thumbs like give your sister something she'll never forget. Daisuke turned back to Haruna. But right as he tried to reach toward the center of her legs, the tip of his shoulder was gouged out by a .45 caliber bullet. You crazy bastard! Why the fuck did you shoot me?
お前、説明したじゃねえかよ。
Didn't you hear a word I said?
撃ったら死ぬっつってんのに、なんで撃ってんだよお前バカが。マジでよ。
He still shot even after I told you she'd die if you did? Are you a fucking dumbass?
いっただからなんで撃ってもう一発撃ってんだよ。
Why the fuck did you shoot me again? You dumb shit!
お前、俺マジで死ぬぞ。俺が死んだらお前らも死ぬんだぞ。
I'm seriously gonna die! If I die, so will you guys! Shuhei just sighed at the sight of Daisuke gasping for air, tears welling in his eyes.
お前に嘘をついた。
I lied to you back then.
嘘？何がだよ。
Lied? About what?
本当の特殊機能は
My true special function.
半径10メートル以内にある PDA の特殊機能を無効化する。だ。
Is to neutralize all special functions within 10 meters of my PDA. What?
だからお前の特殊機能は効果を発揮しない。
So your special function won't do a thing.
なんだと？
What was that?
嘘だよな。
You're kidding, right?
そう。
If you want to think that, go right ahead.
わかった。周平、俺が悪かった。
Okay! Shuhei, I'm sorry!
お前の妹に手を出したのはつい出来心だったんだよ。マジで。
I only touched your sister cause I got caught up in the heat of the moment. Seriously.
だからそんな目でみんなって。
Hey, don't give me that look.
あれだ。俺たちそんなガキじゃないだろ。仲直りしようぜ、周平。な。
Look, we're not kids here, right? So let's make up, okay, Shuhei? Okay?
黙れ。
Just shut the fuck up.
ごめん助けてくれよ。俺が悪かった。
Okay, sorry, save me. I'm sorry.
俺の賞金は全部お前たちにやるよ。な。
I'll give all my prize money to you guys. Okay?
だから命だけは助け。
So please spare my life.
一度だけチャンスをやる。
I'll give you one chance. Shuhei kicked away Daisuke's pistol at his feet. The pistol rolled across the ground, stopping at its owner's feet.
なんだよこれ。
Huh? What's this?
死ぬのは自分で選ばせてやる。
I'll let you decide how you die.
お前に少しでも罪の意識があるなら
If you feel even the slightest guilt for what you've done,
殺した人たちに懺悔しながら自分でやれ。
then repent to the people you killed as you kill yourself.
は？
What?
できないんだ。俺がやれ。
If you can't do it, I'll kill you instead.
わかったよ。自分でやる。
Okay, I get it. I'll kill myself. Daisuke picked up the pistol of his left hand and pressed it to his temple.
周平、最後に一つだけ言い残したいことがあるんだ。
Shuhei, there's one last thing I want to say. Daisuke's arm trembled, his face stained with blood and tears. Go ahead.
俺はずっと周平、お前のことが。
I never told you how I felt about you, Shuhei. I've always...
大嫌いだったんだよ。クソが
hated your fucking guts, you son of a bitch! After everything had ended, Shuhei dropped his smoking pistol. Haruna had seen everything. Daisuke laid face up on the ground with a bullet in the center of his forehead, glaring into the dark abyss. At that moment, All strength left Shuhei. As he fell down, Haruna promptly caught him.
春菜
Shuhei called out for the sister he'd managed to protect. His vision was slanted, his blood was growing colder and colder, and sleep was gradually overtaking him. Shuhei! Hang in there! My body's so heavy. Hold on, I'll treat you now. I'm good at first aid treatment. I've done it many times, so... Haruna ripped Shuhei's shirt and reached for his abdomen. She gasped in horror. One of Daisuke's bullets had entered Shuhei's abdomen from the back and was still stuck there. The bullet had changed inside his body, its kinetic energy turning into a shock that had left Shuhei's innards in tatters. First aid treatment would do him no good now. Huh? What? Don't make that face. What face? I'm not... It's okay. I'll make it through this, I know it. The organizer should be here soon. We just need to hold out a little longer. So you're okay, Shuhei? You're going to be okay. Haruna took out bandages, gauze, a sewing set, and disinfectant from her uniform. It was likely none of them would be enough, yet Haruna tried to treat Shuhei all the same. I'm about to stop the bleeding and disinfect the wound. And then I'll wrap the bandage in. But Shuhei gently took Haruna's hand to his own. Haruna, it's fine. No, it's not. It's not fine at all. We're going to save you, Shuhei. We're going to leave this place together. We can't both leave here alive. No. No! Save him! Someone save Shuhei! Haruna screamed. There should have been many people who could hear her through the microphone in her collar. Even if they were the ones who got them mixed up in the game, Haruna pleaded to them. I'll pay back all the money I earned, even if I worked the rest of my life for it! I'll keep participating in games until I die if that's what you all want! If you want to see me suffer that badly, then I don't care if to give myself up to someone. So please, I'm begging you.
誰かお兄ちゃんを助けてよ
Someone, please, save Big Brother. Haruna cried like a young child. Large tears streamed from her eyes and fell on Shuhei's cheeks. When Shuhei saw that, he recalled how Haruna used to cry like that all the time. Shuhei smiled when he saw his sister like that. You know, this brings me back. Big Brother. How long it's been since you called me that. But you're a big sister yourself now, right? If you make that face, you'll make your little brother and sister worry. The baton of life had been passed on to him by Kotomi and Yuna. Shuhei believed they need to survive this game while keeping hold of the baton to pay for their deaths. But now he had Haruna. His sister needed that baton. In that case, Shuhei didn't mind being an anchor. He could entrust the rest of his endeavors to her. I knew it. I alone was responsible for Kotomi's death. Unless I blamed someone, my heart couldn't take it. I couldn't go on unless I lied to myself and said there was nothing I could do about it because this world is unjust. I should have been able to make my own decisions. I wonder if Kotomi's mad. But knowing her, she'll probably forgive even a lowlife such as me. She's a hopeless busybody, that one. Stubborn and too nice for her own good. Hey, Shu. Are you ready? Yeah. I feel guilty for making your shoulders such a heavy burden. But I have no more regrets. I see. So please, let me stay with you forever. Yeah. Shall we go now? Yeah. Big Brother? Hey, Big Brother. brother.
ゲームの終了時刻となりました。
The end of the game has arrived.
ただいまをもちまして、全日程を終了させていただきます。参加者の皆様は大変お疲れ様でした。
As of this moment, the game's time limit has expired. Thank you for your efforts, players.
今回のゲームの勝者を発表いたします。
We will now announce the victors of this game.
ナンバー2、粕谷瞳。
Number 2, Hitomi Kasuya.
ナンバー3、細谷春菜。
Number 3, Haruna Hosotani.
以上2名の方となります。
Those two are the winners.
壮絶な死闘を戦い抜いた勇敢なるプレイヤーたちに盛大な拍手を。
Let's give a big round of applause for these gallant players who fought heroically to the death.
この6日間の経験がプレイヤーの皆様の人生の糧になりますことを切にお祈り申し上げます。
We sincerely hope these last 6 days have provided our players with an enriching experience.
それでは皆様、またのご来場を心よりお待ちしております。
Now then, we will be ardently awaiting for your next appearance. It had been a very long time since she returned to her hometown. It was a 3-hour train ride from the city, another 40 minutes by bus, and yet another 15 minutes by foot to reach the temple. It was a fairly long trip, but with all the sights along the way, she hadn't been very bored.
故郷とは言ってもあんまり見覚えはないわね。
This may be my hometown, but it doesn't look very familiar. She'd lived here as a little girl. That period only made up a third of her entire life. She had no memories of the surrounding scenery. Though even if she did think she remembered something, there was no proof that it was actually true. Like how her old house had been torn down and reduced to a vacant lot, the town changed with each passing of the seasons. So it was no surprise that the scenery she'd known from when she was still Haruna Fujita was nowhere to be found.
私の中の思い出はとっくになくなっているの。この場所に覚えててっていうのはちょっとわがままかな。
Though my memories of it are long gone, maybe I'm being selfish for wanting to remember something. Haruna sighed, shrugging. She headed deeper into the temple, basking in sentimentality. She stood in front of the Fujita family grave, having been guided there by the head priest cleaning the grounds. Her parents' grave had been tended to neatly, not a single fallen leaf to be found. Considering how her family had been estranged from their relatives in life, Haruna couldn't think of anyone who'd be visiting this grave by this point. In that case, it was probably the temple staff who tended to it. Admiring their perfect work, Haruna thanked the old priest. The old priest just gave her a kindly smile and left, giving her no reproach for not visiting in a long while. Haruna placed her luggage and bucket down, and turned back to the grave.
お久しぶりです。お父さん、お母さん。それに
It's been a long time, father, mother, and
お兄ちゃん。
big brother. Players who died in the game were treated as missing persons. So it wasn't like Shuhei was resting in this grave. Haruna was well aware of that, could think of no other place but here to respect his memory.
来るのが遅くなってごめんなさい。
I'm sorry it took me so long to get here.
どんな顔をして会えばいいのかよくわからなくて。
I wasn't sure what sort of face I should give you all.
覚悟が決まるまで時間がかかっちゃった。
So it took me some time until I was ready. After looking at the grave for a while, Haruna put the flowers she'd bought on the way into a bamboo stick and lit it with an incense stick. She then clasped her hands in prayer and slowly looked up.
お父さんの借金はね、全部返せた。
My father's debt has been fully paid off.
だから私はもうゲームに参加してないよ。
So I won't be in any more games.
大切なものをたくさん失ってしまったけど、今は家族みんなでまた一からやり直している最中なの。
We've lost many valuable things. Right now my family's in the middle of starting over from scratch again.
もっとも私はその温かい光景に戻ることはできないけど、
Though the gentle days I remember will never come back. No response came. However, Haruna continued talking. Though it was a weekend, there was no one else around in this rural town cemetery. After a brief silence, Haruna spoke up again.
ねえお兄ちゃん、
Hey, big brother?
あれからずっと考えていたの。
I've done a lot of thinking since then.
私たちが銃口を向け合ったあの時、お兄ちゃんが私を撃たなかった理由を、
About why you didn't shoot me when we were pointing our weapons at each other back then.
私が生かされたその意味を。
About why you let me live.
私ね、お兄ちゃんになら殺されてもいいってそう思ってたんだよ。
You see, I thought it was okay to die if it was by your hands.
何度もゲームに参加して何度も人の命を奪って、それでも家族のためなら平気だって自分をごまかしてきた。
I fooled myself into thinking that it was for my family, and it didn't matter how many games I played or how many lives I took.
でも本当は苦しくて苦しくて耐えられなかったんだ。
But in reality, it was so painful that I couldn't take it.
この手で殺した人たちにも家族がいたはずなのに、大切に思っている人がいたはずなのに、
Even though the people I killed must have had families of their own, and people they held dear.
その人たちの未来を奪ってまで私が生きることにどんな意味があるのか。
What does it mean for someone who had stolen away so many futures to live?
私にはそれが分からなかった。
I didn't know.
人殺しの言い訳に家族を利用してるって伊藤大輔にそう言われた時、何も言い返すことができなかった。
When Daisuke Ito told me that I was using my family as an excuse to kill people, I couldn't say anything back.
あの男がやったことは最低だけど、でも本質は私と何も変わらない。
That man was scum, but he and I were essentially the same at the core.
私は家族っていう都合のいい言葉で自分の行いを正当化して生かして取り繕ってきただけなの。
I justified, beautified, and sugarcoated my actions by using the word family as a convenient pass.
そんなこと言われなくたって分かってた。
I didn't have to be told to understand that. But
お兄ちゃんに殺されるならそれが贖罪になるんじゃないかって心のどこかで思っていた。
somewhere in my heart, I thought I could make up for that by being killed by you.
それなのに私はまだ生きている。
Yet I'm still alive.
私 私の命にどんな価値があるのかよくわからなかった。
I didn't know what kind of value my life had.
だけど私なりに考えて答えを出したから。
I did something of my own and arrived at an answer.
だから今日はそれをお兄ちゃんに伝えに来たの。
So I came today to tell it to you, big brother. Haruna closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She resolved herself and looked at her family grave once more.
もう家族のためなんて言い訳したりしない。
I won't use my family as an excuse anymore.
許されない罪を犯したことを私は受け止める。
I accept the unforgivable sins I've committed.
これからは自分が正しいと思った道を胸を張って生きていく。それが私の命の価値につながると思う。
From now on, I will live proudly on the road I believe to be just. That will become the value of my life.
私はね、お兄ちゃん、
And that's why, big brother,
これから運営の組織に戦いを挑む。
I'm going to bring the fight to the game's organization.
私の手であのゲームを終わらせてみせるよ。
I will tear down that game with my own hands. A fierce will shone in Haruna's eyes.
家族にはもう別れを告げてきたんだ。もうあの家には戻らない。
I already said goodbye to my family. I won't go back to that house anymore.
自らゲームに乗った私がそうすることで何になるのかはわからないし、
I won't know what will become of me in the process, considering I played the game.
あの組織がどれほど大きいのか見当もつかない。
And I don't have a clue how big their organization is.
きっと勝ち目のない戦い。だけど私はやらなきゃならない。
I know it's a fight I have no chance of winning, but even so, I have to do it.
それがあのゲームで命を落とした人々に私ができる唯一の手向けだから。
Because it's the only tribute I can offer the people who've lost their lives to the game. Haruna looked at the blue sky. Almost like she was looking for someone's face in it. There was no hint of indecision or fear to be found in her eyes.
じゃあね、また会いに来るから。
Goodbye. I'll come back again. Haruna rose to her feet with those words.
お待ちください。
Please wait. All of a sudden, the voice called to her from behind. Haruna turned around, the force of a bullet to find that girl standing there. The other life Shuhei had spared. The faithful servant who'd sworn her loyalty to him. You're... Haruna gasped with shock, taking in the knife the girl was holding.
あなたの命の価値、そんなものはありませんよ。
The value of your life? There is no such thing.
お金のために人の命を奪い続け、魂までもが薄汚れたあなたに生きる意味があるとでも。
What meaning could there possibly be in the life of someone who killed for money and tarnished her very soul?
運営の組織と戦おうとすれば罪が清められるとでも思っているのですか。バカも休み休み言いなさい。
Do you believe that you can wash away your sins by fighting the game's organization? Fools should speak with proper consideration.
あなたの贖罪の術はただ一つ、死ぬことです。
There is only one way for you to atone. Dying.
あなたがいなければ周平様が死ぬこともなかったんですから。
After all, were it not for you, Master Shuhei would not have died. The girl glared at Haruna with a pitch-black darkness in her eyes. 2 men in black suits stood behind her.
あなた方は運営の組織の。
You people are with the organization?
もう追っ手がかかったってこと。
Now I get it. So I've already been followed. Neither the girl nor the men in black replied. Their silence was answer enough. It seemed the organization had already caught wind of Haruna's planned rebellion. And they were using the other life Shuhei had saved as a tool. Haruna ground her teeth, but never looked away.
これが私に与えられた最初の試練。
I guess that makes this my first trial, huh?
罪を償うことなんてできないかもしれないけど。
Maybe I can't atone for my sins, but even so,
私はこれからそのためだけに生きる。
I will continue to live on for that purpose. With those words, Haruna took the extendable band she'd been hiding. Perhaps she never stood a chance against such a powerful enemy with a weapon as weak as that. It was a weapon she kept on self-defense in case the need ever arose. She held it firmly to protect the life her brother had given her, and to stick true to her convictions.
そんなおもちゃで私と戦うつもりですか?
You plan to fight me with a toy like that?
ならばいいでしょう。あなたの罪、流血をもって注いであげます。
So be it then. Your sins shall be paid in blood. The girl readied the knife. However, Haruna showed no hesitation whatsoever. And charged at her enemy with a war cry.